Oh, shit, it went live anyways. Hey, everybody. Enjoy the theme music. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Happy April Fools, everybody. I don't have anything for you for April Fools today. It's my bad. I kind of forgot it was April Fools. In fact, Jen thought I was messing with her today. So I didn't have anything for that. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. Yeah, no, I was pretty sure you were trying to trick me.
I wasn't. I just I made some decisions last night and stayed up way too late. So I'm late because I stayed up late. That's it. There's no like real good excuse for that. My alarm goes off at 4:30, and when it went off this morning, I said no, thank you, and then I slept in for like another hour and a half. But there was not a great deal of sleep to be had last night. So
yeah, no, I battled. I said I self-diagnosed myself with like ADHD. I've got like time blindness. I always think I can have more time. No, just 5 more minutes. I do it all the time. So.
Yeah, dude, is that a thing? I don't know if I have that thing. I am a Niners fan. This is not a LA Rams hat, just so it's clear. There's a company that I purchased my underwear through that sent this hat with my underwear. So that's why I have this hat. I liked it. My daughter said, I like that hat. You should wear it. And so that's where this hat came from. So not a Rams fan. Where's Cam? Cam will love this hat. It's like Rams colors.
He'll probably show up and he'll think that you're wearing it.
Oh, but I won't know.
Maybe that's your April Fool's joke.
There we go. Yeah, I won't know what his name is off of, what's his name on YouTube or Twitch?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we'll know. Probably something like Ram Lover or something like that.
Probably.
It has nothing to do with his football preferences.
Stupid. Anyway, well, so yeah, you were up late. You're dragging us today.
No, you were up late.
We're not on TikTok.
You said, because I text you. It was like 3 a.m. I text you, and you're like, I just finished up getting in the shower now. I don't know what you meant. Do you want to tell people what you meant by that?
Yeah, I mean, totally like got railed all night, and so I had to shower.
Never mind.
Someday you'll learn. Someday. Maybe not today, but someday.
Daddy showed up. Good. I didn't think I'd ever hear you say I got railed. I think that was it. That's the part that was a little alarming for me. Yeah. I didn't think those words would come out of your mouth. My bad.
Well, you live, you learn.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I did miss a comment yesterday. I think it came in after. It said, for Antifa dudes, thanks for calling out the BS. That was from Jennifer. So thank you, Jennifer. Don't ask if you can't handle the answer. Yeah, one of these days I'll learn that I shouldn't ask those questions. We'll see.
It's just I'm not going to get upset or feelings.
You're not going to get feelings. You're just in it for the
I'm just
railing.
I'm just for the railing.
Please become that person. Please become that person that texts me like, "Hey, I'm going to be a little late today. I'm getting railed." I would enjoy like that version of you. I think.
You probably won't.
Just like a steady slew of like meat donors that you bring in. It's like a rotating group of meat donors. I think you should do it.
I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, but
that's enough. That's enough.
Well, since I guess my job is done here, making you your face all red.
Thank you.
We can probably get the show going. So,
Austin, I think Austin, you might be bipolar, man. Yesterday you were yelling at me. Now I'm a great dude. I appreciate that. Oh, there it is. I'm a turd. That makes more sense. Yes. Mm-hmm. Suck my ass, Austin.
All right. Well, since we're getting going, we are not on TikTok today. So we're just YouTube and Twitch.
We're just raw dogging YouTube and Twitch. Yeah.
We haven't seen Patrick in a while. He hasn't been in here to troll. I don't know.
Is he here?
Do you see comments if they're flagged by Automod?
It doesn't show me if something is flagged by Automod on my end. Okay. I never know.
So Patrick says RTP getting a boner is what he said, but it was flagged by Automod.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So
I don't have a problem.
So I can see him. Maybe you can't, but so long time no see, Patrick.
A little self-report there by Patrick, I think.
Exactly.
Possibly.
Oh, there's Cam, Mighty Duck.
That's his name, Mighty Duck. Oh, Anna, is it Anaheim? Are they still in Anaheim? Hockey fan too?
I don't watch hockey.
You don't know, but you know about the Mighty Ducks. Actually, that movie probably came out when, kind of too late for you.
I'm a millennial. So.
You're probably in your early, mid-20s when that came out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I was maybe 7, but okay.
27. Wow. You're older than I thought.
Yeah, 27. Got it. All right. Well, we're going to get going. So we've got the gift goal. We do this each day, Monday to Friday, from 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. Jay was a little late today because he didn't go to bed on time. His bedtime was, he decided
I was in bed. I took my magnesium like a good 40-year-old man does. And then I got out of bed and left my house. That never, and for anybody, no, it wasn't even for that. It wasn't even like,
mm-hmm.
It wasn't, I swear on my life. It wasn't. Wait, I wouldn't tell you that. I wouldn't tell anybody that story if that's what it was. My dating life is very private.
You still tell people things that you couldn't waterboard out of me. But
yeah,
whatever.
Just not my dating life. Just like really embarrassing stories about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not a smash night. No, it was not that. It was just a long. It's
your lie. You tell it. It is.
It's not. Don't back me up on this, please. She just leaves. Blue Chew says Jen is ageless, but never rageless.
True.
That's true.
True.
A lot of rage, Jen.
Anyways, so yeah, like I said, we've got the gift goal. We're not on TikTok today, so anything you guys can help us out, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking down that gift goal. This is our job, and this is how we pay the bills. So if you can help us out with that, that would be fantastic. If you're not a subscriber, please become one. A paid member, specifically on YouTube, so you can join us for members-only events. If you're on Twitch, you can use your Amazon Prime sub so that you don't have to pay with your own money. You can get a free sub with Amazon Prime. If you guys disagree with RTB, I see there's some people here early. You guys can come up and talk to them if you disagree with things that are saying. All you have to do is message me on Discord. My Discord is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, double 2 B's, the number 1, and I can bring you on. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. If a letter is mail, what's a bill?
If a letter is mailed, what's the bill?
If a letter is mail, what's a bill?
Female. Yeah. Oh shit, that was right. I didn't get it when I said it until after I said it. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I also
Jen's starting a trans debate early. We're gonna you just said female, and suddenly every conservative in here is like, "What is a woman?
What is a woman?" Yeah, good point. I didn't think that one through, but I did try to catch some fog this morning, but I missed.
Stupid. Thank you. Austin Sophia, thanks for starting the Dollar Train. As always, so generous from across the pond. It's nice to see our friends over there in Europe. Sorry, we just want to, on behalf of me And everybody who has a soul in this country, Asta Sophia, sorry. We tried. We tried really hard to not get this guy voted in, and sorry. We're just very, very sorry. But thank you always for being so extra generous and being a loyal listener. Let's get a W, Asta Sophia, in the chat before we get started. Alex said, "What do Jen and balconies have in common?" Jen, you want to answer that?
Railings?
Yeah, that's correct. That's Alec. Alec, I don't know. I can't protect you. I don't know what she's about to do about that. If you get attacked, sorry, dude. Sorry. All right, let's jump into this. I honestly wasn't going to cover this. I was going to take the high road. That was my plan. I take the high road way more often than I would like to, and I was going to take the high road on this, and then I had a different thought, and we're taking the low road today. Fox News is talking about Christi Noem. This is the most devastating thing to ever happen to her.
Former Homeland Security Secretary Christi Noem is asking for privacy and prayers tonight. She's said to be devastated by a report alleging her husband has been what is being called a cross-dressing double life. Senior national correspondent Rich Edson has details tonight. Good evening, Rich.
Good evening, Brett. Well, former Homeland...
Is that a double life? It's not right. Like, is it a double life if you have kinks? That's not a double life. I don't know what it is with you conservatives, why you are so obsessed with sex and with genitals and with kinks. I don't know if that's like, what was this dude supposed to do? I didn't think I would find myself having sympathy for Christi Noem's husband. But old boy's just sitting at home while his pet murdering wife is obviously out cheating on him with Corey Lewandowski. Just like gallivanting the world. Where'd they go? To Argentina, like horseback riding. There was a bed on, like, how's this guy the bad guy? I don't think Fox News even covered the allegations with Corey Lewandowski, but there's pictures of this dude with balloons in his shirt, and this is the real scandal. You guys got to get it together, honestly. In what, like, where, how does this jive with your belief system as conservative Christians? How is it that her husband is the one that is causing the problems? He sat there, this same guy sat there in a congressional hearing and had to listen while people openly talked about his wife's affair with Corey Lewandowski. I'm happy for him, honestly. I think he just said, fuck it, I'm going to do what I really want to do. We're going for it. But Fox News, of course, they're not going to cover that Christi Noem, one, was too stupid to do her job. Two, that she wasn't really doing her job. Corey Lewandowski was doing it. And she had a very public, I don't know if it's an open affair. Like, everybody knew it was happening. I don't understand how her husband became the bad guy here.
Security Secretary Christi Noem and now President Trump are responding to a report regarding Noem's husband's alleged online activities. A spokesperson tells the Daily Mail that she's devastated and that, quote, the family was blindsided by this, and they ask for privacy and prayers at the time.
Pass. You don't get that. Not after all the shit you say. Not after you consistently destroying families of immigrants. Not after all of your, like, transphobic and hatred towards the LGBTQ community. Fuck off. Pass. I think that's really why I decided. I saw this. The family was blindsided by this. Give them privacy and prayers. No, give them attention. Lots and lots and lots of attention. You don't get there's no crime here. What are we supposed to give them privacy and prayers for? The dude had, like, is she upset that, like, he looks better in leggings instead of old Big Bird out there? Is that what we're upset about? But no privacy. Also, no prayers.
President Trump tells the outlet he knew nothing about it, adding, wow, I feel badly for the family. If that's the case, that's too bad.
It's all about reputation. It's all about public image. Donald Trump, Republic, you can have public affairs. That's fine. Now, according to your religion, that's like the worst thing, but you can do that. But oh my God, if your husband cross-dresses, it's the worst thing in the world. This is weird. You guys are weird. Can we just, Tim Walz is right. You guys are really, really weird about stuff. Kinks are embarrassing. Not a public. I mean, she was shellacked in that hearing. She was dressed down. Probably the wrong terminology to use today, but in front of Congress, she was exposed as being an idiot, and also exposed in front of her husband for having an affair on a plane that was like carrying immigrants. What's wrong with you guys?
The Daily Mail alleges it obtained hundreds of messages between Brian Noem and 3 women involved in a site where men cross-dress. The Mail posted several of these photos and writes Brian Noem allegedly...
That's a devastating picture they used of him. Like, this is what propaganda does. Like, let's get the worst possible picture of him.
Sent women in the community $25,000 in virtual payments. The publication says Brian Noem did not deny the explicit conversations, but says he never put national security at risk while his wife was secretary, setting up a potential blackmail situation. Quote, yeah, I made no comments like that. That would lead to that.
Yeah, but again, how is the potential blackmail is the husband, but not her affair? There's no potential blackmail for her affair. Maybe not, I guess, because they were so public about it.
Brian Noem operates a crop insurance agency. He and Christi...
Yeah, isn't this right up J.D. Vance's alley? Oh, J.D. Vance loved this. He immediately called Brian Noem. Hey, bro, what you doing? You want to come talk on the couch? Yeah, wear whatever you want. Like, legitimately, just whatever you want. Yeah, whatever makes you comfortable. Maybe wear something that you wouldn't normally wear around your wife. We'll keep things low-key over here.
Noem married in 1992. They have 3 adult-age children. Earlier this month, President Trump ousted Secretary Noem from her role leading the Homeland Security Department after congressional hearings where she had difficulty answering whether she was having an affair with top aide Corey Lewandowski. With her husband seated behind her, she also faced questions about more than $200 million in DHS ad campaigns that featured Noem. Democrats are investigating that businesses that received money on that contract. The president named Noem as...
I appreciate that they said Democrats are investigating that. Like, even Fox News is like, but Republicans aren't going to do a goddamn thing. What is this? What don't Jen and balconies have in common? Only one is guaranteed. Oh my God, Alec. Jen, where are you?
What? You started it.
Alex said, what don't Jen and balconies have in common?
What?
Only one of them is guaranteed to come with a railing.
True. Men can be disappointing.
Great. Bye. Let's get back to Christi Noem's husband. Jesus.
Special envoy to the Shield of the Americas, Brett.
All kinds of stories today.
I love that so much. I don't know. What do you say to that? Yeah, all kinds of stories. If you don't know what we're talking about, we're just going to show you. I wasn't. But old boy threw some. Thank God we're not on TikTok today. Those are balloons, just so we're clear. Those are balloon knots, and not that kind of balloon knot. These are balloon knots. That's Brian Noem in his hot pants and his kissy face. They kind of look similar. Does anybody else feel like they look similar? A little bit? Not bad. Not bad, says Eric. Why is his nipple in his ear? I don't know. He didn't adjust the balloons correctly. I guess he was in, I don't know what, it's some app. It's like some fetish app. I don't know which one it was. It's like called like Fet Swap. Is that what it's called? I don't know if I'm allowed to say. Is that what it's called? Fet Swap? Now he's in these, I don't know if these are his wife's pants or what. Christy's just like, I don't have any ass. She was just jealous. Fet Life, thank you. Fet Life. I think he was on Fet Life. couldn't happen to a better person. Megyn Kelly's reaction, again, just, you guys are weird. Why are you all this weird? There's so, like, we're going to cover a bunch of other weird shit that happened that's like currently happening.
This is not what you
But how is this the biggest issue for conservatives? Why is this so devastating?
want to see if you are married to anyone, to find out that this level of betrayal has happened. This speaks to somebody's entire character. The fetish, yes, but the lying, the deceit, the money, the getting off with another person, not your spouse.
But I don't think any of those things were exclusive to him.
All of it is very dark and dirty and disgusting. And I'm sure whenever she found out, whether it was today or previously, I'm sure it's made her skin crawl, like it's making our skin crawl.
Again, yeah, it sounds like this is worse than publicly in a congressional hearing having your affair exposed. Again, I don't care about any of this shit. Like, they're all grown adults. If they want to have affairs, they can have affairs. If they want to cross-dress, they can cross-dress. I'm weirded out by Republicans' response to all of this. I'm very confused by all of it. It's not that unusual for me to be confused when it comes to Republicans, but this is very confusing to me.
And just what an incredibly reckless risk for her husband to have taken, given the position she just held. This is not.
All right. Yeah, she was having a public affair. I don't get you guys. I do think that we're just in a weird cult, and I think that a lot of you have just decided it's fine. We're doing cults. Amber said, if birthright citizenship was overturned, does that mean Marco Rubio will be deported? I don't know. Is he an anchor baby? I don't know much about where Marco Rubio's birth story. Jeff said, I'm broke, but Jen with the got railed all night thing. Thank you. I've been saying Jen should legitimately just start a Cameo or OnlyFans where she just yells at people. I want to show you something a bit alarming, and it appears that the oligarchs believe that they've won. Now, this is Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison's the guy that's buying everything. He owns his own Hawaiian island. This is the one behind the Paramount deal, behind the TikTok deal. And listen to what he's saying now. The plan is going forward. You can no longer say that it's conspiracy theory, that this administration is going to turn us into a totalitarian police state, if they can.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's
is this the Hunger Games? 1984? Yeah, okay, Big Brother. They're just saying it now. Nobody will do anything wrong because we're always watching.
Going on.
Makes you miss Chuck Norris.
It's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to.
I appreciate that Dennis for Israel said, like, I've seen people hack into people's webcam. Like, but that's an implied risk, right? And you can be informed on the risk. Like, I have a webcam. Somebody could, if anybody hacked into my webcam, they would be severely disappointed by the life that I live. But that's implied. Like, this, every move we make is what they want to do. And that's a good point there, Tracy. Like, AI is easily manipulated. How do you know? Like, most Americans can't spot the difference between AI generated content and non-AI generated content. Hell, like I have refrained from using dating apps, but I've logged into a dating app or two recently, and there are clearly just like AI generated people, and it says that they're verified. So even dating now, you're not sure. And as somebody who's been publicly catfished before, I'm on high alert about it. Jen, I haven't matched with a single AI person so far yet, so you'll be happy to know that.
Have supervision. In other words, every police officer
Christian Mingle exclusively. Thank you. Sure. Shut up.
is going to be supervised at all times.
Now, there's going to be a counter narrative here. There's going to be pushback. Obviously, I have real concerns about AI. I have real concerns about giving the power of AI to a handful of people. If we're going to use AI to make all of our lives better, and this is where I wish we could get on the same page with Republicans and conservatives. If you think that AI can make your life better and that we can replace jobs and still live fulfilling lives, you need the government in charge of that. And this is how they have like fucked all of you up and allowed themselves to, like these oligarchs to get this much power, because they tell you put it in the hands of the capitalists. We're handing over the future to this country to like a handful of psychopaths. At least if the government has control of it, there's some control that you have, right? You can elect other people. If you want to go down this road, which I don't want to go down, but if we're going to go down this road with AI and allow them to do all the things that they're talking about, then we need to have the ability to fight back against overreach and for the power that we're handing to oligarchs. If we continue down the path where we're at now, with the lack of regulation where we're at now, within 10 years, the entire country, perhaps the world, is going to be run by like Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, Larry Ellison, Mark Andreessen, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. They will run everything. They will have all the leverage, whether they're like the elected leader or not. They will have every bit of leverage that they need to control everything. And because they're monitoring your lives, the ability to gain blackmail and then to control people will be exponentially easier. You look at the amount, like previous to all of this, just the amount of blackmail and influence Jeffrey Epstein was able to get. Long before all this, what do you think is going to happen here? And conservatives that are sitting out there, let's be honest about you guys. You're all phonies in one way or another. And I think we all are. Like, we have private lives. But you have private lives that are not in accordance with your online beliefs or your public beliefs. And if somebody's able to come in and say like, "Hey, you got to do this for us, or we'll expose this," you don't think that you'll go for that? What if you're having an affair? What if you're like Christi Noem's husband? You don't want you conservative men. You can't have your conservative friends knowing that you're a cross-dresser. I see what you guys say here every day. You can't tell me that if you're here every day as a MAGA conservative screaming at me that there's not like some darkness in there. Don't tell me that. Do you really want this? Interestingly enough, the person pushing back the most right now is somebody who is remarkably unintelligent, but has really good advisors, and they sense when the political winds are shifting. And unfortunately for their advisors, they have the worst possible order to speak to the political winds shifting. But when you see somebody like Ron DeSantis saying the same shit that we're saying, you know that the political winds have shifted, and people are not for this. Here's Ron DeSantis at the state of Florida Law and Order press conference, I guess. I don't know.
Artificial intelligence.
It's only coming out of my left headphones. Sorry.
And first of all, it's become very unpopular. You remember like a year ago, everyone was like, "Oh, AI, we got to go all in, we just need to do all this." Now people are seeing some of the slop that's being created, and they're like, "Well, wait a minute. Is that the world we want to live in?" Oh, yeah, you're saying that this...
Sorry, Amy Lynn said, where in the Bible does it say you can't wear leggings and balloons? It doesn't. In fact, it might be encouraged.
Is somehow good because it's going to take away people's jobs? Is that really good? You want to subsidize that? I don't think people want to subsidize it. Oh, it takes data centers, take 500,000 households amount of power to run a day. Oh, and they need water and all this other stuff. So people have started to really look at this, and I think a lot of people have had a lot of concerns. But what they'll be able
They didn't do a risk analysis? No. That was the interesting thing about like AI and how it took over. Everybody just suddenly was like, AI is the future. We have to invest everything in AI. And all these smaller cities and counties had these massive data centers coming to them. And they're like, hey, we'll build here. And they didn't realize there was no due diligence there. They didn't look at the types of jobs that were going to be created. If those jobs were going to be filled by the locals, they just saw billions of dollars, construction jobs, and they're like, sign up. No. Especially our state and local governments were really, really unprepared for this. And it also goes to show, like, we don't know, like, state and local governments, we don't necessarily elect, like, the best people. We elect people who say what we want them to say. And it's pretty obvious in some of these town halls that you watch when people come and oppose AI data centers and the city council is just completely unprepared. They have no idea how to answer a single question.
With artificial intelligence is they're going to be able to create really horrific things. And so the question is how does that work in terms of jurisprudence, in terms of some of the things that have come
Nice for Jen's date night dinner roll fund for Texas Roadhouse date nights
down the pike over many, many years and decades? It is a very new thing. Now, we have pending, proposed, an AI Bill of Rights to protect children against this type of exploitation, to protect adults, to make sure there's disclosure so you know if you're dealing with a human being or not, to make sure they can't hijack your name, image, and likeness to your detriment. They can put a video of you with you saying things that you never said. Is that just something that you're just supposed to live with the consequences of?
He's so bad at delivering this message. I appreciate what he's saying. I agree with him. He's so bad at it. Like, I just want to go back. Even like, what is this move?
That's just something that you're just supposed to live with.
Little sassy head. So one of his advisors is sitting in the crowd going, "Do the sassy. Do it." And he's like, "Got it." And he just hits it on demand.
Of you with you saying things that you never said. Is that just something that you're just supposed to live with the consequences of that? Or should you be able to hold people accountable? So there's a whole host of things, that we're going to have to be dealing with.
There we go. Nick Shirley wrote this speech. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. So I think we're going to have some pushback there from Republicans. I think that'll be one of the dividing lines as the MAGA era ends and the dipshits lose power. I think that will be like the establishment line, like the neocons will come out with that line. They're afraid of everything. So naturally they're afraid of AI, but we should encourage that. As much as I would love to see Republicans, like the dumbest Republican every single time, win an election, we've seen what 10 years of the dumbest fucking people in your community being sent to Congress does to the United States of America. And Republicans, I hope, can return to no longer sending literally their worst people. I asked this again. Could you tell me, Republicans, a single member of the Republican Party that you think is really intelligent and like an independent thinker? Could you think of one? I think perhaps Josh Hawley is your smartest person. Perhaps. And even then, like he's more of just like a really good orator. Because he's an ideologue, but he's good. And there's a couple issues that he's really good on. Like he's good at going after healthcare. He's good on corruption. Yeah, who's smarter than Hawley? But I wouldn't say he's like an independent thinker. Thomas Massie. I like Thomas Massie, but I've also saw Thomas Massie debate climate change. So yes, Hawley is good orally. That's exactly what I'm saying to Dallas. Just like Rib Tip's dad. Hey, what's up, Rib Tip? It's our fault that you guys elect dipshits. Of course it is. If you guys didn't exist, we would elect smart people. But since we don't like you, We instead only elect morons. All right, bud. That's a pretty good argument. Spiro Agnew, Sarah Palin, Langford. Yeah, Langford's, I don't know. Yeah, he's fairly smart. You used to have some real smart people in there. I worked for him, and I don't like his politics anymore, but Mitt Romney was incredibly smart. That was an incredibly smart man. Go back again and go watch the speech Mitt Romney gave before Trump won the nomination. Everything he predicted about Donald Trump came true, and he was thrown out of the party, and you all hate him now. Yeah, Bowsy, got to own the libs with idiots. How are we going to own the libs? Send in Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then she's like, hey, our politicians shouldn't cover up for rich pedophiles. And they're like, get out of here. No more of you. That's too much thinking, Marge. Mitt Romney was a worthless rhino. Yeah, that's such a brain dead fucking take, Aaron. It really, like, I'm so tired of you guys. If you can't acknowledge if you judge intelligence by by somebody's political opinions, I think it's just a lazy take. Donald Trump stole Mitt Romney's platform his first time around. Donald Trump followed Mitt Romney around like a little lost puppy the entire time Romney was running for president, and Romney was legitimately running from him. Remember, if you guys watched Veep, like when Richard Splett first comes around, like when he first joins the show, Selena's trying to ditch him all the time. That was legitimately Romney with Trump. They would change their flights. They would change appearance. They would move places, and Trump's jet would just follow them around and land. And every time they went somewhere, Trump's like, do you want me to come up on stage and speak? And he's like, no, we're good, dude. We're good. You could say anything you want about Mitt Romney's politics. That man was incredibly smart. His dad was incredibly smart. Again, he was an ideologue, and I think that's why he came to so many wrong decisions. I think that had Mitt Romney been raised in a politically neutral household that where they weren't also in a cult, I think Mitt Romney likely would have been one of the greatest presidents of all time. And he wouldn't have held the same positions that he has. He wouldn't have been a venture capitalist. He wouldn't have been in a cult. He wouldn't have to lie. I don't like his politics, but I've been around him. I've seen him speak. That is a thoughtful, intelligent human being. And he's older than Trump, I think, and looks way better. Yeah, I know you guys are going to get mad at me about Romney. He is. He's just, some people are smart. It's all right to admit it, but I guess Hawley is where we landed. Hawley's the best you could come up with. Who's smart in the administration? Who's the smartest person in the Trump administration? Better than Lincoln? Look, this is a controversial take. Abraham Lincoln gets way too much credit. You go look at Abraham Lincoln's actual beliefs. Abraham Lincoln gets way too much credit for what happened after the Civil War. Civil War happened. He took like a moderate stance, but all of the progress made for black people in this country was not because Abraham Lincoln was the driving force. It was like activists. It was progressives, and they forced Abraham Lincoln's hand, and he gets credit for all of that. He gets way too much credit. Rubio, yeah, maybe Rubio. I think Rubio. That's probably right. Rubio or Bessent. Those are probably the two smartest. Probably Bessent. Miller, yeah, Stephen Miller, brilliant. I think Rubio's smart. Yeah, Scott Bessent is smart. The thing about Scott Bessent is he doesn't give a fuck about any of this. Scott Bessent cares about making money. That's it. Politically, I think he's pretty awful politically. Like, his political instincts are terrible. I like that he punched Elon Musk in the face. I like that Elon Musk's only like adult fight was a George Soros protege, like a gay George Soros protege that gave him a black eye. I like that a lot. I'm a big fan of Scott Bessent punching Elon in the face. That's right, he's a farmer. Scott Bessent, the soybean farmer. Yeah, Musk said it was his kid, but all the reporting came out that it was actually Bessent. All right, moving on here. We had a good transition here. I didn't even remember. If there is anybody who has lost more credibility in the MAGA movement than Dan Bongino, I don't know who it is. If you ever want to see something funny, go to Dan Bongino's YouTube channel and read the comments. In fact, does he have, maybe it's maybe he's only on Rumble. Let me see. I might have to go to Rumble. He gets absolutely decimated in his own chat every single day. What's this one? The biggest fraud in DC. Yeah, this is an entire episode about Thomas Massie, and he's now backing Thomas Massie's AIPAC opponent. He's like, we got to get Massie out of there. We got to get this AIPAC funded opponent here. Yes, Dan Bongino, the biggest fraud in DC. Can't get over the fall from grace. He goes into government, a literal hero of mine. Comes out one of the biggest disgusting frauds in this administration. Not this loser who got co-opted by the swamp on the Epstein files. Danny loves Lindsay. The Democrats say no kings, but their campaign donations come from Kingpin. Okay, that's not about that. Yes, the one of, I think, 2 people in DC who doesn't have an AIPAC guy is a fraud. Okay, bro. I mean, he just gets absolutely killed in his own comment section every single time. This guy, he's lost everything. He's sold out to Israel. He sold out to the deep state. But here's what he's saying now about Thomas Massie. And this, if I was Thomas Massie, I would run this as an ad. I wouldn't clip a single thing. I would run this 2-minute and 27-second clip. And at the end, I would say, I'm Thomas Massie, and I approve of this message.
I have never been as disappointed in a human being in politics as I am in Tom Massie. I largely stayed out of that race and make too many comments on it. Because the people of Kentucky will choose who they want. If they want Tom Massie, I'm not a resident of that district. I live in Florida. You pick who you want. Got his opponent coming on in just a little bit, about an hour.
Hey, you guys leave around. Don't make the chat. Don't make me derail this entire fucking live to defend Mitt Romney. Please don't. If you think Mitt Romney was groveling for an ambassador position from Trump, you just don't understand how this works. Trump invited him to lunch. Romney thought about it, regretted it, then was like, fine, I'll go meet with him. And then Trump's like, he came to me, he begged me for the lunch. That's not what happened.
We'll ask some questions about some issues that matter to you, constitutional carry, Iran, NATO. However, when I got up there in that position, I could not believe what a fraud this guy was. I mean, like an epic level fraud. Whatever you think of this guy, I'm telling you, I have no dog in the fight. I supported him.
Tell us about the fraud, though. Give us some instances. Thanks, Burned Out Medic. Appreciate you. Reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. Anything you can do to help us knock out our gift goal by the end of the live would be greatly appreciated. We'll be here till about 1 o'clock today. I have a semi-hard cutoff.
He is an absolute fraud. Fraud. He decided to do some money bomb thing and just completely BSing people.
What's a money bomb? Jay has his Romney like Trump has his Bubba. How dare you? The hell's a money bomb thing? What are you talking about here?
Some money bomb thing and just complete.
It's a bomb full of money, idiot. My bad. Sorry. This is a pathetic attempt to smear Massie. Like I said, I would just run this as my ad.
Completely BSing people.
Thomas Massie, hire me, please.
About my record there. Just lying to your face. I tried multiple times to get this guy to come over to give him a briefing on a case he kept bloviating about on Twitter, causing a serious problem, by the way. And I thought he believed in due process. He's supposedly a libertarian. Wants to try a case on X?
No. He's trying to... They're trying to get Pam Bondi to prosecute a case, and she won't do it. So he's talking about it on X. This is so sad. Bongino, you poor guy. Who cucked you? Who beat you into submission, Bongino? What happened there in Washington? Tell us about it. We're all ears, bud. How'd you come back the biggest bitch that ever existed? You went in there flexing, talking about taking down the deep state, and you came back out and you're like, I don't like when people criticize the deep state. I don't like when people assume that our government is not on the up and up. And if you criticize our government, you're a traitor. What happened to you, bud? You quit. You literally quit and went back to podcasting, and you came back to podcasting with a whole new message. And your message is, let's lick the taint a little harder of the government, please. Let's not be so critical of these folks in Washington.
And he didn't do it. I was there from March until January of this year. You know how many times he came over to visit and ask about these cases despite multiple offers, cases he kept bloviating about where we could have actually told him? 0.
0. It's a fucking hoagie, dude. What was that 0?
Could have actually told him? 0. And there's nothing.
Who does? He read the fucking files, you idiot. He doesn't trust you. He doesn't trust Kash Patel. I don't like Thomas Massie. He's a fraud because he wouldn't take our word for it. Oh, okay. This is so sad. It's a weird position to be in right now where I kind of feel bad for Bongino. Something happened. Somebody pulled him aside and said, watch it, motherfucker. Okay. Go back to podcasting. Okay. And when you go back there, make sure you defend the deep state. Okay. Thomas Massie's a bad guy for asking questions.
Thing he's going to tell you, all of his BS responses, his fake community notes, it's all a distraction from the fact that he doesn't want to admit that he was offered a detailed briefing within certain parameters on these matters.
He was offered a detailed briefing, although we would control that briefing entirely, and there were some things we wouldn't say. He doesn't want to admit that. I think he did admit that. I think he has said that repeatedly. That the answers he gets from the DOJ consistently are, we'll show you some stuff, but not everything.
Bloviating about on X in order to attack President Trump and others and due process.
There it is. You can't attack President Trump, not Kim Jong Donald. Thank you, Michelle, for the $5.
Could have cleared it up for him right away, and he just didn't want to do it because he preferred to be stupid.
Oh.
Nothing will change that. He'll try to distract you with his razzle-dazzle, his bot army, like we haven't been through this before. You think you're the first time we've entered into a primary and supported a candidate and had other people come in with the bots and the bullshit? What do you think? We're like newbies at this?
Yeah. A little bit.
I promise I'll far outlast you.
Well, your numbers suck. Now, if we go back to your show, you can't trust Rumble numbers because they just make those up. But your YouTube numbers now are about 1/10 of what they used to be. I wouldn't be banking on longevity if I was Dan Bongino. If Bongino is scared by the threats Trump gave him, maybe he should just get a job cleaning latrines as he's familiar with shit. Not a bad idea. All right. Guess who else is? It's not just Ron DeSantis now. Look who's turning on Trump now and saying shit we're not allowed to say.
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure. And he does look sick. And he does babble.
Bill Maher pretty much toasted what you are this week. Blake, tell me which clip to look up. I'll pull up Bill Maher's clip. Bill Maher's a fucking dipshit. Bill Maher is another bootlicker.
But, sound like the brain's not doing too hot. And so we just cut bait on Trump and we just mobilize against the Democrats. And we mobilize against neocons.
Now, I'm not playing this because I think you should listen to Alex Jones or that he even agrees with me. I'm playing this because this is significant. There's a lot of people who believe in Alex Jones who voted for Trump because of Alex Jones. I am in no way recommending or endorsing Alex Jones or what he says. In fact, if you watch Alex Jones, you should knock that shit off and be better. But this is significant. Now, he'll probably walk this back in about a week. Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to get a call from Trump, and then he'll apologize and walk this back. But MAGA's having a hell of a time, especially content creators, explaining to their people like, no, this is America first. This actually is anti-war. No, we're not beholden to Israel. We just fight their wars for them.
We primary them, and we just fight even harder because look at how we've turned the tide. Look at all the good we've done.
Yes, Bill Maher is a dipshit. Bill Maher is an old drunk who hasn't evolved any of his views for 30 years. And if you don't change your views for 30 years, you're just a conservative. And conservatives, by very definition, are stunted, mentally stunted, because they have to hold on to their positions their whole lives. So they never learn anything new. They just get to a point, and people, this happens. Like in your life, you either get to a point where you say, "Fuck it, I'm not learning new things anymore," or you continue to learn new things. And I would say, like for white men, that age is about like 26, 27. About the time your brain forms, you're like, "Oh, I got it all figured out," and then you never evolve your political positions. Bill Maher was a little better, but he was also raised in a progressive household. Bill Maher hasn't changed his messaging or his takes in forever. Like he's bringing on Stephen A. Smith, and they're talking about how AIPAC is good and Israel's the good guys, and that it's TikTok that's ruining everything. Just sit around and listen to your grandparents talk, and you're going to get the same level of analysis as you would from Bill Maher.
Fourth turning, populist, nationalist, conservatives are winning everywhere. There's a Christian reawakening, and Trump is just a minor figure in all of that now. And we have to be appreciative of the old Trump that went through so much and got so much done. And that's the Trump we remember. And we're just sad because that happens. We need to be sad about Trump.
I'm not a Democrat, Joel. You're stupid if you think I align with the Democrat Party. Like, you just don't. You're not watching. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I do not align with Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, not even remotely. I'm way far left of them. I have no need. If I joined a party right now, I would join the DSA. I sure as shit wouldn't join the Democratic Party.
This is not funny. This is not good.
It's a little funny.
But he's gone. And that's it. And all the people rallied around him. You can see Hegseth's freaked out. You can see the press secretary's freaked out. They're being loyal. They think it's the lesser of two evils. And okay, but I just...
My independent, I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. Do I come by my ideas on my own? Yeah. Am I influenced by my algorithm? Yeah. Am I influenced by my bias? Yeah. Am I a member of the Democrat Party? No. I'm actually a member of the Republican Party, but only because that's the only way my vote counts where I live. But if I was in like a split district, like a purple district, I would just be unaffiliated. The only reason I'm registered to any party is because that's how I have to choose to be a Republican in order to vote in Republican primaries, which is the only way my vote matters at all. But no, there's not a chance in hell that I would join the Democrat Party. I've been offered. They offer us. It's not a lot. I think I'm on a list, not on a list, but like nobody at this point thinks that I'm somebody that you can call up and be like, "Hey, can you carry water for the DNC?" They know my opinion on that. The people that have tried to get me to carry water for the DNC, like that didn't go very well. That call, I think myself and Steve derailed the entire fucking call. And what started off with content creators probably willing to carry water for the DNC ended with nobody willing to carry water for the DNC. I sure shit haven't got an invitation back to that group. I don't know if Steve's here. I don't think Steve got an invitation back to that group either. So no. I would be unaffiliated. I'm as independent as I can be, but I'm progressive. I was up late last night and I was talking to a friend and somebody that isn't politically active, but they identify as conservative because their personal beliefs are more conservative. And I just talked to him. Like I run through this litmus test every time with somebody who thinks that they're a conservative. I just ask a couple of questions. I say, would you ever, like if this is a woman friend of mine, I said, would you ever have an abortion? She's like, I don't know. I was like, do you think other people should be able to have abortions? I said, yeah. I said, okay. Do you think trans people have rights? She's like, yeah. I said, what do you think about trans people? She's like, I don't get it. Like, I feel like you are how you're born. And I was like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, of course you don't get it. I don't get it either. But like, we had talked earlier about a family member that maybe it was somebody else we talked about that had dyslexia. I was like, you know how like somebody can have dyslexia and they see letters wrong? She's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, but you don't, right? Right. So you can't understand that, right? Right. Like, so do you think trans people should have rights? Yeah. Okay. Do you think gay people should get married? Yeah. Do you think everybody should pay their fair share in taxes? Yeah. Do you think rich people should be able to pay way less of a percentage of their money in taxes than poor people? No. Okay. I have this, like, my theory is that everybody actually, if you removed the parties, if there was no Republican or Democrat party, we would take a hard shift left overnight. It would happen overnight. We would look a hell of a lot more like Scandinavia overnight. Why? Because when you strip away the veneer, or when you strip away the duopoly, and you have to start talking about ideas, there's no good conservative ideas. Quick, tell me, conservatives here, what's a conservative policy that is a good idea? Something that's exclusive to conservatives. Libertarian doesn't exist in this country. I saw a clip the other day that said libertarian. I think maybe Ash sent it to me. It was like, libertarians are just Trump supporters who pretend they're not, something like that. It's no surprise, Andre immediately goes to trans people. What do you mean what do you mean? Let's have this conversation, Andre. You said if that was true, men wouldn't be banned from Olympic sports, or men are banned from Olympic sports. I don't know what you're talking about. The question was, do you think trans people have the right to exist? Right to bear arms? That's not a conservative. That's not conservative. I'm far left. I have a gun. Kamala Harris had a gun. Most people in America, and we'll do the polling here. And look, I don't want to turn this into an argument. Can we not turn this into a gun argument in the chat, please? To my audience, can we just not do this? I don't want to do that. But thumbs up if you think the Second Amendment should exist. Whether I think that if you're on my side of the aisle, you think it should be severely limited or there should be restrictions. But like, thumbs up if you think the Second Amendment should exist. If you think you should have the right to own a firearm, thumbs down if you don't. And I think conservatives, you'll be surprised at how many thumbs up there are here. But that's not a conservative idea. What you're talking about is unlimited access to guns. Yeah. Look at that. Conservatives, I want you to pay attention to this. These are all the people you argue with every day that you think somehow are opposite from you. So why do you think your politicians tell you all the time that the left is anti-Second Amendment? So that you won't listen to any of the other arguments, the economic arguments, or the arguments about healthcare, or the arguments about equality, because you're too afraid of your gun being taken away. See how that works? What are your other ideas? What are these other conservative ideas that are going so well? He's talking about the Olympic Committee said they will do tests to see if women are women but not decided yet. They already do. I mean, they already have testing for hormones. They already have this is just such a fucking non-issue. It's crazy. Like, it is just such a fucking non-issue. Women, biological women who are not trans women, have historically at times been banned from the Olympics for elevated levels of testosterone. Some of them claim that it was nothing that they took. Some of them, Russia, looking at you, East Germany, looking at you, were injected to the max. But this already exists. Like this idea, like this protecting women from trans people in sports, like those protections professionally already exist. Collegiately, they already exist. I played college soccer, not even on like a super high level. I was drug tested. The girls team was drug tested. They tested our testosterone. They tested the girls as well. Like, that already exists. But again, like, what are your policies? I've said this over and over, but I think that conservatives only exist because they are scared of everything. And conservatives just consistently fearmonger at you. And so what you do is you wind up being a conservative because you're afraid of liberals and you don't really know why. Tell me a policy, conservatives. We'll try this. Can you point to a bill that has been proposed in the Senate or the House federally that you didn't like, that you were opposed to, outside of ideological reasons, but that you just thought was a bad bill? You're brainwashed too. There is no left or right. That's so fucking stupid. Of course there's a left and a right. What are you talking about? It's a political spectrum. It's people's ideas, and they line up either for the right or left. That's how you measure things. Unless you're saying, like, did we make up right and left as far as like political ideology? Yes, but it does exist. You got any? You got destroyed for saying teachers should be armed in the Twitch chat yesterday. I think that's fucking stupid. I agree with the Twitch chat. I have a kid. Like, and this is again the problem. The reason that your argument is that teachers should be armed is because you're so pro 2A and you're one of those probably like cannot be infringed people that you like ideologically you're not allowed to even consider other options. More violence doesn't fix it. Like it doesn't work. More guns doesn't make us more safe. We have more guns than any country, and the more guns we get, the more people get shot. It's simple data analysis. Less guns means less shootings. Go look at the effects of gun violence when we did the assault weapon ban for 10 years. It worked really well. Go look at countries who had firearms and then banned firearms, and go look at the murder rates. They drop. They don't go away completely. They drop. So I'm glad, like, I think you should get roasted for that idea, Nicholas. I think that's a terrible idea that you think arming teachers is going to fix something. There were, like, Uvalde, there were armed guards there. They didn't do anything. I know for a fact that multiple teachers when I went to school were armed. Phoenix Rise said, I'm a member of the SRA, Socialist Rifle Association. Is that a real thing? Yeah, like teachers never have a bad day. Yeah, what if a teacher misses and shoots a kid? Liberal data. Yeah, that's right. Do you ever try to light a fire to put out a fire? That's a great analogy there, Johnny. Got to fire with fire. You can use water. Water's a good idea. Get rid of the problem. Yeah. Andre, you can keep calling me dumb all day, but what you're unable to do is answer a question. All right. Finish up with Alex Jones. Move on.
Trump needs intervention. He needs to take some time off. We need to pray for Trump that the Holy Spirit touch his heart and loose him from whatever evil control he's under. I'm serious. And I think that's the answer. We need to pray for President Trump. That's when you're out of ideas. We just have to pray, guys. This guy's a fucking psycho. All we can do is pray. We need to pray. You know why it's so hard for conservatives to come up with a solution here? Because you gave him all of the power. You just handed it over. You cucky little bitches. We're just like, here, Donald, have all the power, and you can't get it back, which we tried to tell you. Once you hand this over, you don't get it back. You're putting too much trust in him. And now this is why Alex Jones is having a meltdown, because, oh no, we gave him everything he needed to do whatever he wants, and he's a crazy person. So let's just pray. All right. Let's talk about the economy. Let's see what Warren Buffett's saying about our markets. I talked to some friends of mine. I do not give financial advice here. All I can tell you is I have absolutely no money in the market. And a quick reminder that Pam Bondi tried to tell us we should not give a fuck about the Epstein files because the Dow was over 50K. And ever since then, it has been in a plummet. And here's what Warren Buffett now is saying on the future of the stock market.
Well, let's talk about that. The market has come down substantially.
Not substantially.
Well, you've got both the Dow and the NASDAQ in correction territory. It's the worst performance on a quarterly basis for stocks in about 4 years. Do things look cheaper to you?
No. 3 times since I've taken over Berkshire, it's gone down more than 50%. I mean, if you look at the markets of...
Fair enough. Fuck Warren Buffett, but one of the most successful investors of all time. So a good person to listen to when we are projecting the market.
Oh, the worst probably was the...
Weekly correction. Guys, it's a weekly correction. I don't know what week you think this is, dude. This... Ah! It's not a weekly correction. It's over a month now.
2007-8 period, although there was that one Monday when you had 21% in a day. I mean, this is nothing. I mean,
well, this is nothing to make you get excited and think there's huge valuation drops.
If they're 5 or 6% cheaper, that doesn't. We aren't in it to make 5 or 6%. I mean,
Can we not wake up each day in a murder platoon? Okay. Just pointing that out as we move on here. Amy Lynn said, I'm looking into the SRA now. I love learning new stuff. Same. I didn't know anything about that. There's almost no scenario that you can lay out that says these markets are going to recover. What's oil price? What's Brent looking at today? Donald Trump is clearly trying to stoke the markets with is it a 4-day weekend with Easter? Is it a 4-day weekend? He's very clearly trying to fix the markets right now by hinting at the end of the war in Iran. Doesn't look like it's working too much. We peaked at 102. We're at 100. It's remaining pretty steady here. But there's almost no scenario where the markets aren't destabilized for a while now. Liquidity is a real problem. We've covered this a million times. You should go back and watch our show from yesterday or the day before if you want to understand the liquidity crisis in private credit. We won't get into that too much today. Sorry, Illusion. I know you would love that, but go back and watch those previous shows, or just type in AI bubble on YouTube and find like a good economist and see what they're saying about that. But let's get back to the cult shit. This is Paula White. And I'm showing you this to remind you that Christianity, when involved in politics, is simply just a grift. And when you find somebody that is a Christian leader who suddenly surrounds themselves with powerful politicians, it's because they want to make money. This is Trump's spiritual advisor. And what does she do on her off time? This.
And I believe that when you honor God on Passover, starting on April 12th at sundown through Good Friday on the 18th and concluding on Easter Sunday, you can receive these 7 supernatural blessings for you and your house. According to Exodus 23, God will assign an angel to you. He'll be an enemy to your enemies. He'll give you prosperity.
For a limited time only, God is offering to assign an angel to you.
Prosperity. He'll take sickness away from you. He will give you long life. He'll bring increase in inheritance, and he'll give a special year of blessing. You're not doing
just this weekend, though. It's a special one-time offer by God.
This to get something, but you're doing it in honor to God, realizing what you can receive.
For you guys, you're not doing this for the gift. Just remember, you're not doing it for the gift. You are going to get a gift. God is going to bless you, but you're not doing it for that. You're doing it to honor God. And by giving him money, I mean, you're going to give me money to honor God. I can't believe people fall for this shit. This Easter only.
Special Passover offering of $1,000 or more as the Holy Spirit leads. You will also receive the beautiful 10-inch Waterford crystal cross. Don't miss your moment to release 7 supernatural blessings and provision into you.
This is why it's Trump's spiritual advisor. Trump would never take spiritual advice from somebody who's not capitalizing off of their spiritual advice.
And I believe that when you honor God on Passover,
what'd I do? Was that the end?
Offering of $1,000 or more as the Holy Spirit leads. You will also receive the beautiful 10-inch Waterford crystal cross. Don't miss your moment to release 7 supernatural blessings and provision into you.
Now, I wanted to show you that because obviously grifters, but I came across this clip today, thank you, Asen, of Marco Rubio selling you Islamophobes and you scared folks on why we should continue to bomb Iran. And he said this.
Iran don't even like this government or this regime. This is a regime that is led by radical Shia clerics, by people who believe that it is their calling. I know this sounds fantastical, but it's absolutely true. This is a regime led by people who believe that it is their calling and their purpose in life to usher in the end of the world. These people don't.
Yeah, scary, right? That's why we have to bomb them. This is a weird religious thing. They believe it's their calling in life to end the world, to usher in Armageddon. And then I present to you Pete Hegseth.
Place of one of those couple hundred Americans about to undertake this audacious raid on the Iwo Jima looking at a lot of uncertainty in front of you. And this was the passage, and this was the pre-mission reading and the prayer that was read with them. First, a reading from the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verses 37 to 42. King David writes, I pursued my enemies and overtook them, and did not turn back till they were consumed. I thrust them through so that they were not able to rise. They fell under my feet. For you equipped me with strength for the battle. You made those who rise against me sink under me. You made my enemies turn their backs to me, and those who hated me I destroyed. They cried for help, but there was none to save. They cried to the Lord, but he did not answer them. I beat them fine as dust before the wind. I cast them out like the mire of the streets.
You want to tell me the difference? As the leader of our military, again, going back to Rubio, said, this is a regime led by people who believe it is their calling and their purpose in life to usher in the end of the world. What is he talking about here? Is this not the exact same thing? And this is the Secretary of Defense using a story about David and Goliath, a territory dispute, where David used not a slingshot, a sling and a rock to knock out a giant, which is for sure real. Like there for sure were giants. They were what were they? It was the Philistines, right? They were giants. They had Goliath the giant, and he knocked him out with a rock. And so that's why we had to invade and bomb Iran. Huh? How's this different? We have two theocracies battling it out right now. Some of us are like, hey, we didn't really want to be in a theocracy. We kind of just wanted to do like that whole religious freedom thing, and we make decisions not based on our religion, preferably not go to war based on religion. But that's why we're in Iran. They're telling you this is why we're there. Access for RTP blessings. Thanks, RTP Gen Mods and fams. Always have a wonderful day. Thank you. Phoenix Rise says, hey, Billy. Hi, Billy Mays here with the Holy Ghost. Illusion said it's okay to avoid the market talk. All connected. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And then he prayed this prayer, the chaplain. And we pray it with him this morning.
Now, this is the prayer that they're praying before they go and invade a foreign land.
Almighty God, who trains our hands for war and our fingers for battle, you who stirred the nations from the north against Babylon of old, making her land a desolation where none dwell. Behold now the wicked who rise against your justice and the peace of the righteous. Snap the rod of the oppressor, frustrate the wicked plans, and break the teeth of the ungodly.
Who's the oppressor here? Is Iran our oppressor? What is he talking about? I understand that the chaplain has a tough gig, right? Because they're supposed to inspire you. You're going to war. You're invading another country. You're going to murder innocent people. Was this on their way to bomb a school? We're going to kill 168 people at a school. Who's the oppressor here?
By the blast of your anger, let the evil perish. Let their bulls go down to slaughter, for their day has come, the time of their punishment. Pour out your wrath upon those who plot vain things and blow the
vain thing. What are the vain things that Iran is plotting? I hear you, Justin. Iranian leadership is oppressing thousands of Iranians. Yeah, but that's not what the scripture's about. And our government is also oppressing people. So we do that.
Away like chaff before the wind. Grant this task force clear and righteous targets for violence. Surround them as a shield. Protect the innocent and blameless in their midst. Make their arrows like those of a skilled warrior who
were the innocent and blameless those that school that was blown up? How about the apartment buildings where we wanted to take out one target and we killed a bunch of people?
I guess 30,000 protesters killed in 2 weeks doesn't matter.
That number's a fucking lie, dear. I dare you to find me a source for that 30,000 number. I dare you. Until then, shut the fuck up. God, you guys are such, like, sheep bitches.
I heard them say 30,000, and so I've come on here to say 30,000.
Find me a fucking source for that. I dare you. I've seen, like, 3 sources. You know what they all say? It's about 3,100. You know what they say about those 3,100 people? Is that they tried to overthrow the government. And that out of those 3,100 people, they were funded by Israel. Now, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know each of these people. But why do you have to lie? Why didn't you fact check that? Find me a fucking source for 30,000. And that's a good point, TFI. Even if 30,000 was true, we shouldn't bomb a school. Chapping your ass? Sorry about that, bud. Would you rather me be clapping your ass? Is that better for you? This dude's on the payroll. Yeah, for sure. Iran's paying me. I'm on the Iran payroll. What's crazy is like you do this shit for free. You carry water for the administration. You suck Donald Trump's dick for free. You don't get anything out of it. He doesn't even know you're doing it. You're just out here publicly, for free. I'm going to repeat dumb numbers so that I could come on here and justify murdering Muslims. We're the same. The whole point of this segment is like, you can't criticize Iran for using religious imagery to get their people to engage in heinous acts, and then look at the United States, who's doing the exact same thing. This is a war justified for God, so by God, so fuck them kids, fuck those innocent people. God said so, for sure.
Returned not empty-handed. Let every round find its mark against the enemies of righteousness and our great nation. Give them wisdom in every...
You're annoying as fuck. Somebody mute Grandy's Garden. Brother, you can't just say Libby's don't care and then name a million fucking things to try and get attention. You have to be more clever. Mods, will you mute Grandy's Garden for 5 minutes? And when you come back, be more clever. Don't use the same fucking thing over and over again. I have ADHD. It bothers me. Be clever or be gone.
Decision, endurance for the trial ahead, unbreakable unity, and overwhelming violence of action against those who deserve no mercy. Preserve their lives, sharpen their resolve, and let justice be executed swiftly and without remorse, that evil may be driven back and wicked souls delivered to the eternal damnation prepared for them.
Oh. What did those poor schoolgirls do? What evil did they perform that sent them to their death and their eternal damnation? Was it just being Muslim? Was that their crime? Alfredo said Rubio's brother-in-law was a big drug dealer. I didn't know that. Good for him, man. Did he get caught?
The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. We ask.
If you want proof, how about you stop being a Democrat? You suck. You suck so bad. I'm going to read your dumb comments for a second. You all suck. Let's do this. RTP thinks he's Hitler silenced the infidel. Now you're mixing up references. Hitler didn't call people infidels. You're mixing up Nazis and extremist Islamists. What else do we got here? He's liberal. His a liberal. Everything bothers him. There you go. Good. Liar. No one targeted them. You're dishonest. Oh, okay. So it's just an accident. We didn't target that building. We just suck. We just have a shitty aim. Is that what you're saying? Show your proof. My proof. My brothers and sisters in Christ. If Donald Trump and this administration says 30,000 people were killed and they don't show proof, how the fuck am I going to show proof that their made up number is wrong if there's no proof that that number exists? You're just mad that I'm literally telling you, there's no, show me evidence of that number. And you're like, you show me evidence of what? What evidence would you like from me? Do you understand like how an affirmative statement works like that? Let me give you an example. Where's dipshit? Who's that guy that's in here all day, every day? What's his name? Where are you? Dipshit. Say something real fast. The one that keeps getting angry every day. Andre, there you go. Andre, when did you stop hitting you don't have a wife. When did you stop punching your mother in the face? Great. Andre, when did you stop punching your mother in the face? Yesterday. Jeff, don't answer for him. was raised better than that, bro. Prove it. Prove to me that you don't punch that you have stopped punching your mom in the face. Guys, we're going to wait for Andre to prove this for us. How would you prove that, Andre? Oh, we don't believe you when you say you're not that violent. Sorry. That's what anybody would say. Never hit a woman, but for you, I'd make an acceptance. An acceptance? I think you mean exception. Jesus Christ. Instead of answering the question, he just misuses a word. That's about right. That's pretty on brand for MAGA. I would make an acceptance. Thank you. I appreciate you accepting me. Want to try one more time? Exception. Now, sorrowful Blyett said exception and spelled exception wrong. Well done. You guys are fucking great at this. Come on, bro. You know what he meant. Yeah, that's not how the word is spelled. Want to try again? Exception is not spelled with an A. My God. We should just ask them questions and watch them fall apart. Anything else? All right, we'll keep going with this weird prayer.
These things with bold confidence in the mighty and powerful name of Jesus Christ, King over all kings, and amen. Amen. And may the right...
Your criminal record shows you never hit a woman. Oh, so only people that... So if you don't have a criminal record, you haven't hit a woman. Is that what you're saying? So everybody who's ever hit a woman
righteous be
has a criminal record. Got it.
As bold as a lion. May we pray such prayer for our men and women in harm's way right now. To think that such Americans exist on our behalf.
Pass on your weird fucking religious bullshit that you use to justify murdering people. Debo says monthly dues. Thank you. Thanks, Deb. Appreciate that. MAGA in the chat. You did really well. You really got me. I gave you the attention you needed. You got me good. Here is I don't know how we missed this, but again, I just want to compare this interview. It's kind of a long interview. This is Paula White, who Christian, interviewing Benjamin Netanyahu. These are two different religions. She believes Jesus is the savior. Netanyahu believes Jesus was a con man. Netanyahu believes that this war will usher in the real savior. Paula White thinks that this war will usher in the return of Jesus, which is really going to piss off him if they were wrong about that. And it's really going to piss off her because Jesus is going to roll up looking an awful lot like a Palestinian. And that's going to be fucking confusing because she's like, wait a minute. I thought the whites were the good ones. How are we going to do this? But she interviewed Netanyahu. And this is, again, a spiritual advisor, not the same thing as Pete Hegseth. But this is Netanyahu, and he's going to tell you why we're fighting this war.
Minister, honored for you to be with us. The Christian vision of end of days foretells of some profound transformation and redemption. And based on the events that are unfolding today, do you feel that we are seeing these signs of this vision come to fruition?
A good point. This is a war criminal. This is an indicted war criminal here. Can you tell us more about the Savior?
First of all, that vision of the return of the dispersed people to the Holy Land, the reconstitution of Jewish sovereignty in our ancient land, guided us through centuries, and people didn't believe that it would happen. You know, we said century after century after century, next year in Jerusalem, next year in Jerusalem. It wasn't just a prayer. It became a call for action. And
yeah. You took a biblical story and you turned it into real life and you started murdering people and you used a story from a book to justify murdering those people. And you expect us all to just be like, oh, yeah, that's fine.
In the late 19th century, it began to be realized by a great prophet, like a modern Moses, that's Theodore Herzl, who said, this is not just a dream, it has to be realized. And we made our way.
Theodore Herzl, a genocidal psychopath. They speak about these people in the same way that the Germans spoke of Hitler, called of God. The same way that some of you guys talk about Trump. It's weird. It's crazy how like these psychopaths, these murderous psychopaths, so often hide behind God. I hadn't seen it yet. I watched it the other day, but there's that documentary on Ruby Franke and I forget what Jody Hildebrand. You can watch that. Some of you know that I was involved in the murder trials of Lori Vallow. It is amazing how much power seemingly religious people gain when they start talking about using their religion as a weapon against people that they disagree with. It's alarming how quickly those people gain influence and power.
Back, fought for our independence, against all odds won. That's a miracle by itself.
Yes.
Reconstituted our capital, our ancient capital, Jerusalem. It's been our capital.
All right, ban Grandy's Garden for 24 hours. You came back with the same shit. See ya.
For 3,000 years, since the time of King David. That's a miracle. I think this is a string of miracles by themselves. You can explain it in various ways, but I think there is something that defies, it sort of defies the laws of history, because according to the laws of history, if you're gone, you're gone. You don't come back. Well, we came back. And now, having come back, we are poised to meet the challenges that face us and perhaps expand the circle of peace. I intend to work very closely with Donald Trump. I don't think we've...
None of this is military strategy. None of this is talking about Iran. None of this is talking about the Palestinians. None of this is talking about Hamas. None of this is talking about the Houthis. This is all religious dogma and doctrine saying we are justified in doing this thing because it's in a book. This is batshit crazy. God damn, do I fucking hate organized religion. Just the way that it can be weaponized against you is so insulting. I don't know why you guys don't why you refuse to believe that this is insulting to your intelligence and that you're not being used and manipulated.
Ever had a friend like him at the White House, and we've had friends, but nothing so powerful as him. He recognized Jerusalem as our capital. Who
cares? That's not biblical. Nothing in the Bible talks about a country of Israel with a capital city. Why did Trump do that? We know why Trump did that. Because the Adelsons give him a lot of money. And the Adelsons have said, this is why we're giving you money. And Trump said, this is why I did it, because the Adelsons gave me money. It's not even like a conspiracy theory. I don't even have to make shit up right now. This is what they say. Trump's like, I did what my rich AIPAC donors wanted me to do. They wanted me to make Jerusalem, put the embassy in Jerusalem. And you guys are like, yeah, it's probably biblical, though. Probably has nothing to do with the money.
I mean, you think, why didn't the others do it? I mean, it's only been our capital for 3,000 years, odd.
Please stand against the organized religion of Islam. I do. I don't like any. I said I don't like any organized religion. I don't like radical Islamists. I would never join an organized religion. Why do you always need that part, though? Why do you always need me to condemn Islam? Now you condemn the organized religion of Christianity. Then who was that said that? Where were you? Richard Faulkner. Stand against the organized religion of Christianity. I don't think you can do that. Which means that, my position will be consistent. Will yours? Because that's the problem I have with all of you, is your position is completely incoherent. It's not consistent. It's this, we're right, they're wrong. When they do bad things, they're evil. When we do bad things, God commanded it. Doesn't Miriam Adelson back Tallarico? No, she did give him some money for a state, through an organization for a state campaign years ago. But no. Are you going to condemn that or no? You're going to back off of that? You only want me to condemn Islam? Interesting how that works, right? I never condemn Islam, and there's a reason why. I've just done it twice. I don't like any organized religion. I think it's all terrible. And I think that the reason that there's radical Islamists is because people bastardize the teachings, and they use those teachings to manipulate people, and they use that to justify violence. They use that to justify the oppression against marginalized people. And I live in America, where we justify mistreatment of marginalized people through Christianity. We do it all the time. Like, you guys use your Christianity to marginalize women. You use it to marginalize trans people, LGBTQ people in general. It's been used to marginalize black and brown people. You guys do it all the time. It's no different to me. I know, but you just think, oh, when we do it, it's good.
Direct. He just did it. Then he moved the American embassy to Jerusalem.
I can easily say all Mormons are racist, but would never make a similar blanket statement about Muslims. Is there? Help me out with this. Is there an ideology in Islam that targets a specific race and says that race has that skin color because they're cursed by God? I'm not a scholar when it comes to Islam. Can you guys tell me? Does that exist? The reason I can say all Mormons are racist is because their ideology is that if you have brown skin, it's a curse from God, and you are less than, and you will receive less. So that's how they justified the mistreatment of black and brown people. Can anybody tell? I don't know. If that exists in Islam, I'm happy to condemn that. Happy to. I mean, I'll watch for it. I don't know if that exists.
He recognized our sovereignty in the Golan Heights, which is also mentioned in the Bible many times. And he got out of this disaster.
Explain Black Mormons. People can join any church that they want to. So I can explain that, actually. So the Mormon church believes it's a curse. Now, you could be a black person and join the Mormon church and believe that. It's that simple. It's a belief. But up until 1978, black people could not hold any sort of leadership position in the Mormon church. And the Mormons will tell you that what happened is God said it's time. They said that, and they'll tell you that the reason that they didn't allow black people to hold the priesthood was because it wasn't safe for them. But it's 1978. And it just so happened, this prophecy from God just so happened to coincide with the entire country boycotting BYU, Brigham Young University sports, because of that doctrine. Ironically enough, it was five athletes from the University of Wyoming in Cheyenne who started this, and then they got kicked off the team for refusing to play BYU unless BYU changed that rule. And then suddenly, from God's like, you know what? Now might be a good time to change that rule. Ironically, it was sports that changed that rule for the Mormons. But the teaching that if you have dark skin, it's because you're cursed, is still in there. They were people with dark skin were told that they would have that if they followed the teachings of Jesus, that they would become, I swear to God, white and delightsome. There's a lot of Navajo reservations in southeastern Utah, and the Mormons targeted those reservations and sent missionaries there to convert them. And they called it we had the Lamanite training program and the Lamanite mission, because in the Book of Mormon, the people with dark skin are called the Lamanites, and they're named after a man named Laman. There was this family of Jewish people, by the way. This is why the Book of Mormon's bullshit. So the whole story of the Book of Mormon is there's these people living in Jerusalem, and God comes to them and is like, I'm going to destroy Jerusalem. You got to get out of here. And so they build these boats that don't have windows. They're not submarines, but float on top of the water. They hop in the boats, and God moves those boats and sends them to Central America, where they start over. And this is the father's name is Lehi, and then you have Nephi, Laman, Lemuel. I think Sam is another brother. And Nephi is the good son. And as the families grow and they get bigger and bigger, and they create their own civilization here on the American continent, the Lamanites won't listen to Nephi, who talks to God, because Nephi was chosen. And so they're all white from Jerusalem, I guess. And then God's like, Laman, the oldest brother, all of your descendants and Lemuel, the second oldest brother, they will be dark-skinned because they didn't listen to Nephi, and it will be a curse upon you until the return of Jesus. That's the Book of Mormon. So I know you guys want to defend Nick Shirley because you're too fucking stupid to realize he's not a real journalist, and that's where this is stemming from. But yeah, if you are Mormon, you hold racist beliefs. If you are a practicing Mormon, by definition, you are racist. If you deny that teaching in the Book of Mormon, if you reject that teaching of the Book of Mormon, then you've got a bigger problem. Because part of being a Mormon and being in full membership as a Mormon, meaning that you get to go, you know, those big temples that you see everywhere? I don't know if you know this, but the temple's the one with like the statue on top. Only some Mormons can go in those. And you have to go and you have to sit with a bishop and a stake president, which are local leaders, and you have to go through an interview process, and you have to promise to tell the truth about a few things. One, you have to pay 10% of your income to the church, or you can't go in there. Two, you have to confirm that you believe that the Book of Mormon, the entire thing, and the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price, which are the 3 books Mormons have, are the Word of God. That what is in there is the Word of God. And you also have to swear that the person leading the church is a prophet, seer, and revelator, and that they speak to God on behalf of their people. And when they make rules or commandments, you have to follow them because they speak to God. You also have to say that you don't drink coffee, that you don't drink alcohol, that you don't smoke cigarettes. You have to follow the law of chastity, which means no sexual contact outside of marriage. Like no handskis, no boob honks, none of that outside of marriage. So in order to go into that temple, to be a member of the Mormon Church in full standing, meaning that you get the full plethora of blessings, you have to promise all of that. So you can't go to the Mormon temple and also claim that you're not racist. You also can't go to the highest level of heaven, because Mormons believe that there's 3 different levels of heaven: the celestial, terrestrial, and telestial kingdoms. There's different kingdoms, and you have to follow all of these rules in order to get to the top level. And if you get to the top level, it's pretty fucking cool. You get to become a god. You get to become your very own god. You get to have planets. And then you get to fuck in heaven, and you get to make spirit children. And then you get to send those spirit children down into the worlds that you have created. And somehow racism got like looped in there, that you have to believe in racism to get to that point. So in order to be what all Mormons attain to be, you have to be racist. Sorry to burst your bubble about your friend Nick Shirley. Same with Mitt Romney. You can say the same thing about Mitt Romney. Any of your Mormon friends that go to the Mormon temple, they are racist. If they say that they're not racist, they are lying. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Let's get back to these other religious zealots.
Iran, nuclear.
Ban Andre for 24 hours. You're annoying me.
Deal. And then he did something else. We did it together, but without him, it wouldn't have happened. He brokered the historic Abraham Accords, named after Abraham, with 4 Arab countries. And in 4 months, we got 4 peace treaties.
Peace treaties. This is another fun fact about the Abraham Accords. They did not bring peace. In fact, if I signed the Abraham Accords, I'd be pretty pissed, because all of the people that signed the Abraham Accords were peaceful, and there was no war. And then they signed this business agreement, and now suddenly they're all being bombed because of this guy, because this guy dragged our asses all into a war.
Arab states now. Is all that miraculous? I think there's something that guides us. There's a mission, a historic mission. And I know that we've had in this effort the support of our Christian friends around the world. We've not had greater friends.
MC said, I want Andre to prove he stopped fucking sheep. Sorry, I was late on that. Andre, when you come back tomorrow, prove that you stopped fucking sheep. Alfredo said Abrahamic religions are just death cults. It's just so easy to manipulate. Really incredibly frustrating.
You do have such great friends, and myself included. I want to ask you a question about the moving of the embassy, but I want to say something before. Of course, I've been with President Trump for 24 years. And prior to him going into the administration...
I don't know where she gets that number. I never saw her around Trump before he was president. He was not Christian at all. I don't know where that... Like, did they meet one time?
As president-elect on your visit, Historical View and Sarah, it was brought to his attention of 6/11 and the importance of that, because that is, I've now been informed, the exact time that Truman signed, and that was also the exact time in Butler, Pennsylvania. I personally don't think that that would be a coincidence, but divine providence of God saving his life and having a purpose for the world.
They met on the island, maybe.
I think that history is different because of that quarter inch.
Yeah. What would be some of the next most...
Okay, this adds fodder. They're talking about numerology here and the significance of numerology, which is just a very simple manipulation tactic that religions love to use, where they time up like specific numbers, and in this case, it was like 16 or whatever. If you were on the fence, if you thought perhaps maybe Israel staged a fake assassination attempt on Donald Trump, this would give you some credibility. By the way, when Benjamin Netanyahu, the war criminal psychopath, says we were a quarter inch away from having a different history, what he's saying is we were a quarter inch away from the United States president not following me into war, not bombing Iran on our behalf. That's what he means. History would, we would have been far less violent. We wouldn't be in a war. Those American soldiers who have lost their lives would still be with us. Those girls that just went to school one day to learn wouldn't all be dead. The apartments of the Iranians that were just living their lives, they wouldn't be dead. The people who have died in Israel because of counterstrikes would not be dead. The people who have died in Lebanon, the people who have died in Kuwait, the people who have died all over the Middle East due to this war would all still be here. So when he tells you like we were a quarter inch away, that's psychobabble. We were a quarter inch away from not having war, and we got a Christian and a practicing Jew, I assume, saying like that would have been horrific had we not been able to go to war.
Significant milestones that would strengthen the bond between the Jewish people, America, the state of Israel.
Well, I think the president is already doing it. I mean, in 2 weeks, he's done things that not only put things fully back on track, but also point to the future.
Yes.
You know, the first thing he did, among the first things, he stopped the embargo of weapons to Israel. You know, we're fighting a seven-front war.
Just like Jesus wanted. Just like Jesus wanted. Jesus was like, give Israel all the weapons.
Against our common enemies, the enemies of America. They call America the great Satan. They call us...
Not wrong about that.
The small Satan, but we're the small Satan in their way. And so...
Yeah, feels accurate.
We're fighting the seven-front war, and it was...
October 7. Yeah, the United States was not attacked on October 7th. Cool. If you think that the response to October 7th was justified, you and I disagree. But that has nothing to do with the United States. That was not an attack on us. And an attack on Israel is not an attack on the United States. And perhaps Netanyahu shouldn't have been playing such stupid fucking games. What I also know about October 7th is almost everything that Israel said about October 7th turned out to be a fucking lie. The babies that were being murdered turned out to be a lie. The numbers were severely exaggerated. Somehow Hamas was able to just like show up in Israel, and Israel had a delayed response. The Iron Dome people, the people that have cameras everywhere that are watching Hamas like hawks, that have buffer zones, they were just caught off guard. They didn't see any of this coming, and they just let it go on forever. Imagine watching what unfold on October 7th and after that, and then being like, yeah, I think I trust this Netanyahu guy. He seems to be on the up and up. No justification for what Hamas did to innocent people on October 7th, because I know that's now going to be the criticism. But you can do both. You can criticize both. You can call their story bullshit, and that's where like this binary duopoly shit sucks, which I don't even understand. Like, how the fuck are you picking a side between Israel and Palestine here on October 7th? Why do you feel drawn to one side or the other? You don't. You're told to feel drawn. these people have manipulated you into thinking you're on their side.
Anomalous, to put it this way, that we had an embargo on critical arms during that time.
Some of the hostages were fake. Yeah, some of them were real. Again, see, this is you guys do this every time. If we point out that some of the things were not real, you go, oh, so everything wasn't real? No, don't be a dumb fuck. Right? Some things can be lies and other things can be true. That's why I didn't say everything about October 7th was a lie. I said a lot of the stuff we heard about with October 7th was a lie. So that makes me question the official narrative from Israel. Not you, though. Well, I'm going to believe everything. And if somebody discredits one thing, I'm going to say that they are discrediting everything. Don't be cucks for Israel. It's not cool.
And one of the first things President Trump did, knock out.
Actually, it was all real? Oh, okay, cool.
That embargo. Restore the weapons and ammunition shipment to Israel, which is so needed.
All right, I'm going to end it there. You can watch the rest of that, but I wanted to get to a couple other things here. Let me check messages real quick. Wanted to let you know, too, if you have sent messages to Jen, she had to run out real quick. So if you've sent some to Jen and I haven't read them yet, I assume as soon as she gets back, she will post those and I'll have those for you. So just in case. All right.
Back.
Oh, you are back. Oh, okay. Never mind. Go look at the footage myself. Okay. Can you show me the footage? Hey, can you show me the footage of the babies being decapitated? Because that was AI. I've looked for that footage. It doesn't seem to exist. Do you have footage for that? Hey, Melly, where did you get that footage? Oh, YouTube deleted it. Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. It does exist. It's just that everybody hides it. That's what, yeah. Like, say you're in a cult without saying you're in a cult. The evidence would be there if everybody didn't just lie about it. All right. This is so cool. This was an announcement from Eric Trump yesterday. On top of all the corruption and us being dragged into war, the most corrupt administration, like you can take all the corruption in the history of this country made by every single politician and you can combine it, and it's not even fucking close to the amount of corruption that we have seen out of the Trump family in this administration. Just this one, this last like year and 3 months. Here is Eric Trump unveiling the Trump Library. Remember we talked last week about how nobody knows where that money went? How the Trump Library Fund is just like empty. It disappeared. Where did the plane go that they were donating to the library? Where's all these hundreds of millions of dollars that have been pledged to Trump for his library, but it doesn't exist? Well, now we know. That's not true. I'm not just a Trump hater. I do hate Trump, but I do other things too. Does it look like a library to any of you? Big airplane in there. I'm assuming that's the jet that Qatar gave him. We're probably going to get copyright stricken for this. I bet they copyright this. What in the fuck is this? Golden statue. What in the fuck is this? Come on. You gonna have a golden Trump statue that stands behind anybody who speaks? Not surprisingly, a lot of whites. let's talk about this. Here's what Trump says about this presidential library that doesn't look like a library, and that might be for a reason. Here's what he had to say to Peter Doocy.
I got one. Your son Eric posted a photo of what will be the Trump Presidential Library. Yeah. It's a huge skyscraper. Is that all a library? What else is going in there?
Well, it's a library. It's a museum, a library. It's a presidential, but I wouldn't start it till I'm out of office. I don't believe in building libraries or museums. It's really like...
I don't believe in building libraries or museums.
The Barack Hussein Obama one in Chicago. In not a good location, and it's a very unattractive building that's seriously...
He's so fucking petty with Obama. Sorry Obama was cool, dude. Sorry people liked him. Sorry he landed a joke on you during the roast. Let it go.
And
talk about rent-free. Good Lord.
Seriously over budget. I think you're going to see a great one here, and it'll go up on time, on budget, best location in Miami. They say it's the best block in Miami, and the state worked with us.
Will people live in the floor?
He got cut off there by Doocy, but I want you to hear what he said here at the end.
In Miami. They say it's the best block in Miami, and the state worked with us.
And he said, and the state worked with us. Now, that got cut off, so that's going to be ignored, but we'll get to that in a second.
People live in the floors?
No, it's going to be most likely a hotel. You know, this concept could be office, but it's most likely going to be a hotel.
You're allowed to collect money for presidential libraries, donations for presidential libraries. You can be part of your foundation. He's collecting that money and turning it into a for-profit hotel. Like, honestly, are we going to keep fucking doing this with you dumb motherfuckers every motherfucking day? Are we going to keep pretending that this man gives a goddamn about any of you? Are you really going to sit here and defend this today? Honest to God, are you going to do this today? This guy is literally taking donations. He has been holding like approvals over these massive corporations, and he's been threatening these corporations and saying, you have to give me money to my presidential library in order for me to work with you. And now he's just openly saying it's not a presidential library, it's a fucking hotel. So as president, he used his power to fundraise, to build a hotel. And we're just going to pretend this is normal. It's happened before. That this isn't entirely illegal. We're just going to keep pretending. The fuck is wrong with you idiots? Honestly, and I mean idiots in the most disrespectful way possible. Yeah, the emoluments clause. What's that? We don't care. We don't care. We sold our souls to this dumb motherfucker forever. He stole money. He used the office of presidency to use it as leverage to get money to fund a business venture. And you want us to believe that he's doing shit for you and for us. While your dumbasses go out there today and pay soaring gas prices, while mortgage rates refuse to drop, interest rates refuse to drop, employment refuses to do anything but get worse, wages are stagnating, more Americans than ever are in debt, more Americans than ever are living paycheck to paycheck. What the actual fuck is wrong with you? Is this mass psychosis? How the fuck did you all become loyal to a dogshit businessman, reality TV star? How did this happen? How have you become people that wake up in the morning and you're like, this is the thing. This is the thing that's very important to me. $4 billion fucking dollars he's made as president. $4 billion. And that's just what we know of. While all of your shit got more expensive. All of it. And now we're in a war with Iran that nobody can fucking explain either. What would it take for you to change your mind? How much worse does this have to get? You walk up and he could just like grab your balls and twist them. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. What else do you need to see at this point? This would have brought down Every single presidency. Joe Biden would not have survived this. Obama would not have survived this. Nobody would survive this level of corruption. But you little bitches, you spineless bitches have enabled this. And now we just have to sit here and watch him fuck the country over while he makes billions and hope that whoever gets in office next can fix this. And it does not matter to you one single bit. How is this guy worth that amount of loyalty to you? Make it make sense to us, please.
Hotel with a beautiful building underneath and a 747 Air Force One in the lobby. It's just going to be a trick.
I got one.
Yeah. You got gifted an airplane, dude. By the way, you know what I think he's probably going to do? This is just a prediction. The jet that the Qataris gave him, he will keep. He will paint his current jet to look like Air Force One, and he will put that in the museum. I bet I'm right about that. If anybody wants to take bets, I bet that's what happens. That Qatari jet becomes the Trump family jet. The Trump family jet gets painted to look like Air Force One, and they put it in the library. Yeah, the video showed it. Yeah. OCD said, fuck, marry, kill. Oh, yeah, I can say that. Jen, Nick, Shirley, Lindsey Graham. I'm marrying Jen. That's an easy one. I hate that I had to do this. Jen's going to stab me. Lindsey Graham's gone. And Nick Shirley's going to get it. And we're going to record it too. We're going to make an OnlyFans video. And he's going to hate it. Good question, though. All right, let's talk about how Trump even was able to pull this off. This is Richard Lamondin. He's actually currently running for, I believe, state Congress in Florida. Somebody can check that. I don't know if it's, I think it's state Congress. But here's Richard Lamondin explaining how Trump got this property. Now, remember, in Trump's comments there, he said, the state of Florida worked with us. Here's what they did.
We're back at the location of one of the greatest land scams in Florida history. To catch you up, Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and their cronies forced Miami-Dade College to give one of the most valuable pieces of land in Miami to the Trump Library Foundation. You want to know for how much? $10. $10. Now here's the fine print they don't want you to see.
$10. $10.
The only stipulation that the Trump administration has is that they need to start construction on some kind of library within 5 years. No restriction on a condo tower.
Yep. They stole the land from a school. Valuable land. And they gave it to Trump. You cucky little bitches.
No restriction on a hotel. No restriction on a commercial development. Just has to have some kind of library center. So how much did Miami-Dade College get to invest in their students, faculty, and facilities? I already told you. $10. Now you think our Republican state senators will be up in Tallahassee raising hell about their local college getting nothing. But you know what they're doing instead? Naming the Palm Beach airport after Trump and letting him profit off a federal trademark. That's what they do with their power. This land belongs to the students. And instead, they gave it away for a price of a cup of coffee they didn't even buy. I'm Richard Lamondin, and I'm running for office because we need leaders who are going to stand up against this corruption and actually work for Miami, not Mar-a-Lago.
Go get the paperwork then, hey ye. Stop asking me to do your fucking homework for you. You're on the internet, dipshit. Go Google it. You can find the paper. We need paperwork. Do you not know where to find it? Where is it? Online. Go find it. Stop asking everybody to do your homework for you so that even if I showed it to you, you'd be like, oh, Google lies, the internet lies. Go do some homework. Come back to us. Let us know if that number's correct or not. OCD said that was for Jen to answer. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Oh, man, that made it even worse. Jen. Oh, no. No, OCD, no. No. You have a death wish, my friend. There's no way. You could message her on your own. If she wants to answer that, she can answer that. I am not going to force that upon her. All right. Here's another weird thing about Trump, because Trump is very dumb. And you have to be pretty dumb not to see that Trump is dumb. When Trump writes an executive order, which he doesn't write, he brings out this Stephen Miller wannabe to read what it's about. Trump stands there looking like he's hearing it for the first time. Then he signs it with his Sharpie. By the way, remember that story he told the other day about how Sharpie made a specific pen for him and they even put gold writing on it? They reached out to Sharpie and Sharpie's like, we don't know what the fuck he's talking about. That didn't happen. We did not make a specific pen for Donald Trump. So he lied about that. Anyways, then Trump signs his big gaudy signature with a fucking Sharpie because he's a toddler. And then he has somebody else in the administration explain it because Trump can't read or doesn't read, and he can't explain anything in depth. There's not a single policy. I'll challenge any of you. Find Donald Trump speaking in depth about a single policy ever. You cannot find it. And for some reason, he's signing an executive order here, cracking down on mail-in ballots, and he's decided to have Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, explain it. Howard Lutnick's role has nothing to do with this. I'd also like, just as a reminder, this man lied multiple times in front of Congress about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein. And there has been not a peep from the Epstein class here and Epstein's former BFF, Donald Trump. Nobody gave a shit that he lied about how close he was with Epstein. Not one person in this administration gave a shit. You guys don't give a shit. Epstein's best friend, one of his other best friends, who are currently part of an administration covering up for Epstein, and you still want us to be like, no, Trump's not in on it. Anyways, here's Howard Lutnick to explain why we just signed an executive order cracking down on mail-in ballots and how it's going to work.
So the fundamentals of our democracy are built on voter integrity, right? We all need it. You've said it time and time again. It's a total agreement amongst everybody. So here's the idea. The states, right, run these elections. They will, if they want to use the U.S. mail, the U.S. Postal Service, they're going to get a code, a barcode from the U.S. Postal Service, and they're going to put that on the envelope, and we will have one envelope per vote. None of this time where we have...
That already exists. This is like the 10,000th executive order that they've written for something that already exists. Have you ever mailed in a ballot? It comes in an envelope. It has a return envelope. You put it in the envelope. This already exists. They're solving a problem that doesn't exist. They're adding an additional step. And they can't do it, by the way. This executive order is going to be ruled unconstitutional because you can't change election law via executive order. These are just desperate attempts to try and cheat in the elections.
No idea. There's no observers to mail. There's no envelopes. There's no certainty. That's all going to go away. And what the president is doing today is he's going to make sure that mail-in ballots are safe, secure, and accurate, and will have a clear distinction. If you voted by mail, you will have it on the envelope. Obviously not on
again, already exists.
The ballot, but on the envelope. So we will know a million.
How does that make a difference? The ballot is what's counted. Why do you need a barcode on the envelope? I'd have to look at mine. Does anybody have an old ballot? Is there a barcode on the envelope? I could have sworn there's already a barcode on the envelope. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm just trying to pick this apart. Like, how does this make sense? There is? Okay, let's see if we can find an image.
There was one on my California ballot. There was a barcode.
There's? Okay. Yeah, that's true, because they have to scan it as received. That's actually a good point, Jamie Kathleen. Of course, yeah. When you send it in, you can check the status. They have to scan it. So, of course, there's a barcode. Okay, yeah. So this already exists. Cool.
Mail-in ballots. There'll be a million envelopes, and you'll be able to know exactly, correctly, that citizens voted.
This is incoherent. Can I tell you what I think is happening? I'm going to. This guy's a fucking moron. And these are moron enablers. And everybody's too afraid to tell Donald Trump no. So they stand up and debase themselves and they say dumb shit all the time. Why? Because he wants them to. That's the only reason. These executive orders are pointless. This is like we are just allowing a toddler to run the country and pretending that he's not a toddler. He has no clue what's going on. He doesn't write them. He can't explain them. Why is somebody else explaining the executive orders? Why is the Commerce Secretary explaining an executive order on mail-in ballots? Why can't Trump explain it? Because he can't explain anything. Again, I'll issue this challenge. $50 to anybody who can send me a 3-minute video of Donald Trump explaining the details of a policy. One time. He's been president now for 5.5 years. Find one time Donald Trump spoke about a policy in detail for 3 minutes. It's $50. The first person who can send me that. I promise you can't find it. I hope you spend time looking for it. And at the end of that, I hope you go, oh, this is why. This is why he said this. No more parties? Ready for the AI spam? Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably get some of that. Okay. Then here's Trump. Finally, Trump gets asked the question, and he says something remarkably un-American, remarkably stupid, remarkably unconstitutional. And there's some of you are going to defend it, and I don't know what to do with this. Alberto says, for truth. Thank you, Alberto. Reminder, we've got about an hour left in the show today. We are pretty close to knocking out that gift goal, and I appreciate you guys helping me with that today. And Jen, anything you can do to help us knock out that gift goal by the end of the live would be greatly appreciated. But now here's Trump. God damn, I need more ways to explain how stupid he is. I'm running out of words for this.
Obama and Biden. I don't care how good your case is. You can have the greatest case.
I didn't say Donald Trump is trying to rig the elections, the Jaka, and you're going to get banned if you don't apologize for lying that I said he's trying to rig the elections. I said he's trying to cheat.
Ever. They're going to rule against you. They always do. And it's not supposed to be that way. Now, the Republicans tend to be very different. They want to show how honorable they are. So a man can appoint them and they can rule against him. It's so proud of it. We're so proud we ruled against Trump.
What a fucking psycho. He's talking about the independence of the Supreme Court. He's railing against the fact that he appointed people to the Supreme Court and they don't just do what he says. Quick, defend it.
We're so proud. We're above it. There are those that say that's wonderful.
Yeah.
There are those that say they're so stupid. But the Democrats never fail at one thing. When Barack Hussein Obama or when Biden appoints somebody, they go along that line. You can have the greatest case in history. And almost, I guess I have to say almost, maybe I don't have to say it, almost without fail, those people, 4 of them, sometimes 5 of them, but 4 of them will vote against you. You don't have a chance.
There's not 5 of them. There's not 5 liberal judges. You can't have 5 liberal judges rule against you when there's not 5 liberal judges. This man is very, very stupid. If you still support him, you are also very, very stupid. If you're getting mad at me right now for pointing out that he's stupid, then you are very, very stupid. You're going to get mad at me? This motherfucker just said 5 liberal judges often rule against him. There's not 5 liberal judges. It is so crazy to watch you get mad at me at real time. This is why we say it's a fucking cult. He says something stupid and obviously wrong, and you're like, how dare you? How dare you insult dear leader? If he says 5, then the number must be 5. The fuck are you watching? What the fuck is wrong with you?
You don't have a chance. And that's not what...
It's true. I am overly sensitive to dumb fucks and the defending of dumb fucks. It does bother me. I don't like my intelligence being insulted. you seem to demand it. If you don't talk to me like I have 4 brain cells, I'm not listening.
We'll vote against you. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And that's not what the court system is. Now, the Republican appointees tend to go, and this has been long before me. This has been for many years. Some people would call it stupidity. Some people would call it disloyal. Some people would say they're right in doing it. And I don't mind being right, but the other side almost never does it.
First of all, I don't know what you're saying. I think what he's trying to say there is that the conservative judges don't always vote in lockstep. And you know why that is? Because conservatism is wrong. It's wrong. Always. That's why. The reason that conservatives get ruled against so often is they hold on to things that are unconstitutional and they try and revisit them. Quick. Who didn't want to give women the right to vote? Conservatives. Who didn't want to give black people the right to vote? Conservatives. Who didn't want to allow gay people to get married? Conservatives. Every single time conservatives go before the Supreme Court, they are begging the Supreme Court to take us backwards. That's why they lose so goddamn always. However, there have been multiple cases, even in this administration, with progressives filing lawsuits that get ruled against. They had the what was the one they just ruled against? It was 8-1 yesterday. That was what was that ruling? Conversion therapy. In Colorado, they tried to ban conversion therapy. I'm a fan of that. I think conversion therapy is horrific. The Supreme Court, 8-1, said that you can't ban conversion therapy. And the reason they said you can't ban conversion therapy is not because of their ideological leanings, because they said it alienates people who want conversion therapy, and people should be able to choose the type of therapy that they want. Now, on the opposite side, when this gets reversed, when you're talking about, for example, how you want to identify or medical treatment that you may want to get because of your beliefs or your identity, the conservatives will not be consistent on that. The progressives will be consistent. What you see all the time is that progressives are far more consistent with their logic than conservatives, because conservatives are ideologically driven. You're not for freedom. You're not for the expansion of rights. You're not for equal rights. You are for established rights, and people who you don't think should have the same rights as you should never get the same rights as you. What's up, Jen?
That's an awesome pause screen. Was that on purpose?
No, I didn't even look at it. Did they really hold a SCOTUS hearing for one fucking person? I mean, well, look, these cases are for like one person. Generally, it's like one party, and it makes it, the case itself will make it to the Supreme Court if they feel like that ruling will affect people. So Colorado's trying to ban conversion therapy. It's probably the right ruling, honestly. I don't like it. I think conversion therapy is awful, but people are allowed to believe things that are harmful, and people are allowed to choose therapy that I believe could mentally harm them. So I think it was probably the right ruling. But what Trump is saying here is like that liberals always stand together and the conservatives don't. And just historically, that's not true. It's just him being a whiny little bitch like always. Because Donald Trump does one thing better than anything else, and it is be a victim, a perpetual victim. A billionaire who is president of the United States spends 90% of his time being a victim, and then you guys spend 100% of your time adopting his victimhood and making it your own personal victimhood. So if we pick on Donald, then I guess we're picking on you as well. Here is a ruling that did go against Trump today. Yesterday, I think. This is Terry Moran.
Breaking news out of the federal courthouse in Washington today. Federal Judge Richard Leon, in this opinion, has ordered President Trump to stop construction on his 90,000 square foot ballroom at the White House. Trump is already livid. He called the people who brought this lawsuit, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, left-wing lunatics. But I want to tell you about the law. A couple of things. Why did the judge order construction to be stopped? What's the legal question? We can start with the Constitution because that's where the judge started. Article 4, Section 3. I'm going to read it to you. The Congress shall have the power to dispose of and make all rules and regulations respecting the territory or the property belonging to the United States.
See, the thing is that we didn't realize when we wrote the Constitution is when they wrote Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2, they meant it so that it would pick on Donald Trump. The founding fathers knew, and they wrote Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2 just to get at Trump because they were haters. They were just Trump haters. That's why they wrote it there.
If it's federal property, Congress has full, complete power over what happens. And the White House and its grounds are federal property. Now, President Trump pointed, and his lawyers, they pointed to another law.
Gypsy, come to town. You spelled wine wrong, unless you're saying Democrats drink wine. But this is an interesting one. I like this. Democrats whine, Democrats protest, Democrats put on hats, Democrats do no kings protest. Okay, well, do Democrats whine? Sure. Do Democrats protest? Yes. Do Democrats put on hats? Yes. Democrats do no kings protest? Yes. Republicans do a lot of that, mostly whine. They don't protest because they're lazy as fuck. They do put on hats. And the hat is glorifying Donald Trump. And they don't do no king's protest because they want a king. You all treat Donald Trump like a king. It is remarkable. You're American citizens. How in the fuck are you upset that people are saying we shouldn't have a king? Let's make sure that America stays free and we don't have a king. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? That's un-American to say no kings. Oh, okay.
And that law provides funding every year to the president, about a little over $2 million this year, for, quote, the care, maintenance, repair, alteration, refurnishing, improvement, air conditioning, heating, and lighting of the executive residence at the White House. So basically, it's an upkeep bill that Trump is trying to put a $400 million ballroom in. The judge is just not buying it. One of the things he said, the White House does not belong to any one man, not even a president. It has to belong to...
Look at them all be victims immediately. Democrats and liberals bring up frivolous lawsuits to get in their way. We're all victims all the time. We don't know what's going on, but all we know is the Democrats and liberals are making things so hard for us. You whiny little bitches. You guys sit here all fucking day and whine at me, just like a guy on the internet.
All of us. And to do something of that magnitude to the White House requires authorization by Congress. Trump's lawyers had said, no, the president can do things. Look at the West Wing. It was built. The East Wing, it was built. But those presidents, Roosevelt, Teddy, and Franklin, they went to Congress for the money. Trump didn't want to go to Congress because he knew a 90,000 square foot ballroom might draw some objections. Now, what about the fact that it's being paid for by donations? The judge here says there's no provision in law to tear down.
There you go. There you go again. Everything he does, he gets sued as a victim. They persecuted him. They shot at him. They sue him. They belittle him like you do. That's the very definition of victim. Cry more, bitch. What are you doing up here? You're victim caping for Donald Trump? You don't even realize how hard this billionaire's life is. He gets sued. And when he gets sued, he loses because he breaks the law, and that's not fair. They shot at him. Who's they? It was one person. One person shot at him. It's not they, and that one person was a Republican. Jesus Christ. It's not fair that he breaks the law, and then people try and hold him accountable. That's my president, and I will cry for him in the chat all day long, every day. God damn, dude. He's not going to fuck you.
On parts of the White House and build something else just because you're getting private donations to do it. Once again, the land belongs to the people of the United States, and our Constitution has vested power over that land completely in the hands of Congress. There's a big mess for President Trump. He's got a big hole next to the White House, and the last-ditch argument of the Trump lawyers was, hey, if you just leave that hole there and stop construction, it's a national security problem. And the judge says, well, it's a national security problem that Trump himself caused. And he just essentially said, you're out of luck. What happens next? Trump will appeal right away.
And Trump thinks he's going to win that appeal. He's obviously not going to win that appeal. He gets beaten up in the courts all the time. He just wants to be able to run the country through executive order, and you guys are whining for him. It's not fair that he has to follow the rules. No other president has this happen to him. Yeah, because they don't all break the rules. They don't sign obviously unconstitutional executive orders and then cry about it. it doesn't happen that way. All right, let's get to Iran. A couple things real quick. Thank you very much for a reader to finish off the goal. That was very generous of you. Tanya said, first of the month, Antifa dues are due again. Have a great day. Amber said, the tracking bar on the envelope lets me track my vote through the system too. I can look online, see when my vote is received and when it is counted. Yeah, I thought so. I just didn't have a ballot on hand, so I wasn't sure. I could have probably looked that up and found a picture. But yeah, let's keep solving problems that don't exist. Let's just keep writing laws that already exist. Okay, actually, let's not go to Iran quite yet. I want to do. Well, I'll cover. I'll actually cover the Supreme Court stuff tomorrow because I'll have more stuff. But there's a Supreme Court hearing today on birthright citizenship, and I was going to play a bunch of clips, but I think we'll have I didn't get all the way through it, so I'll play that tomorrow. Let's see here. Let's start here. I want you to remember another thing as we get started here, and why I goddamn hate Republicans, and why I don't understand any of you. Nobody can tell me why we're at war with Iran. Nobody can tell me the benefit of the war with Iran. In fact, all I see is negatives with this war with Iran. It's costing us a fucking fortune. And so Republicans are in a tricky spot right now. This is House Budget Chair Jody Arrington. And now that we're already in debt, Trump's already spending way more than Biden, and we cut taxes, so revenues are lower. We're driving up the debt at record pace. Trump's asking for more money. So naturally, what will we do? What will the Republicans naturally do when it's time to pay for this debt that they've racked up on a war?
We have a war on a nuclear Iran that could be paid for by the president's war on fraud. And as you said, there's a boatload of fraud across the federal government. We just addressed Medicaid and SNAP, but there are 70-plus means-tested welfare programs across.
That's right. Take it from the poors. Fuck the poor people. We can always take more money from poor people. Why do they always go after Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security? Why? Because it's guaranteed. And it's supposed to be untouchable. The thing that he is suggesting here is legitimately unconstitutional. It goes against the laws that we wrote for Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. If you cut spending on Medicare, you don't get to take that money that you save and spend it somewhere else. It is you get taxed for it. It is a line item. When you get taxed for Medicare or Social Security, it has to go to Medicare or Social Security. What they're openly talking about is stealing from poor people. Even if there's like waste or fraud or abuse that you cut, great. That means that money stays in the Medicare fund or the Social Security fund, which we've already moved stuff over to the what's it called? The fund. It's not the fund. Whatever. The trust fund. The trust. We've already taken money out and put it in the trust that we steal from. So if you cut waste, fraud, and abuse, you're not supposed to be able to spend that anywhere else. But this is, and by the way, they don't. For the record, they don't do that. All they're trying to do is make it look like we spent less so that the deficit doesn't look like it goes up quite as much. They're trying to hide this excessive spending by taking Medicare spending or Social Security spending and dropping it lower. So it just simply, it's like a little trick that they're doing to try and make you not see that they're spending quite as much. They spend more, Republicans spend more than Democrats, and they bring in less money than Democrats. They always drive up the debt at faster rates than Democrats. Always, always, always. When Democrats get in office, they reduce deficit spending. When Republicans get into office, they increase deficit spending. Why is that? Because they bring in less revenue and they spend more, so it accelerates the problem. Democrats either keep the tax policy the same or they increase taxes and increase spending. So while they also increase deficit spending, the percentage by which it increases goes down. There is nothing fiscally conservative or fiscally responsible about Republicans. Your party is a bunch of lying fuckers, and you are a bunch of dumb fuckers, because what they do is they are the most fiscally irresponsible party that has ever existed in this country, and they go out and they campaign on fiscal responsibility, and you go, yeah, that's important to me, and then you check the fuck out until the next election. And then when the next election shows up, you fall for the same shit again. They're like, look how much our debt went up the last 4 years. They're like, oh, I think that was the libs. I think the Democrats did that. I better vote for this person who's lying to me again about fiscal responsibility. And then you dumb motherfuckers vote for him again. I don't know what else to tell you. You're dumb. Got to be better. Just look it up.
Across this entire people's government and about $1.5 trillion.
It's the opposite.
Cost.
Let's look at it. Okay, we're going to do this. Look at deficit spending by year. Is that going to give me by year? Hold on. Where's the... Expand this. I wonder if I can do 20 years here. How far back can I go? Let's see. I can go back 10 years. Can I get a table? There it is. I mean, a chart? No charts. Great. All right, we'll go back up. Then find a chart for it. Here we go. This one has 29 years. Hopefully. Okay. All right. So let's talk about who's in office here. Go back to 2000. Bush won in 2000. He took office in 2001, right? Then we've got Iraq War, and here's Obama. Now, for everybody who thinks Obama, we go. This is surplus or deficit in billions. Obama takes over here, so this is the end of the Bush administration, and obviously that's the 2008 financial collapse. And you'll see here that we reduced deficit spending all the way through, and Obama leaves office here, where we've massively reduced deficit spending. Then Trump takes over. 17 gets worse. 18 gets worse. 19 gets worse. Obviously, COVID gets worse. Biden takes office, gets a little better, a lot better, than worse here, right? Now now this is projected deficit spending, so we'll have to see how those numbers line up. But you can see here in 25, the first year, then by Trump cutting like some of the stimulus money, we're at 1.78. We'll have to see it 2026. Those are estimates. Shouldn't Republicans move this line closer to zero? Look at the first Trump years. He increased deficit spending. Didn't they tell you that it would be the opposite? He told you that he was going to eliminate the debt when he ran. Were you getting anywhere close to that? No. They lie to you. Don't let yourself be lied to. Okay. Done with Jody Arrington.
The GAO report.
Finish up there. Here is, well, I'm going to skip that with Trump. Let me skip Cuba because there's like 45 minutes. No, I do want to talk about this, actually. This is Christi Noem. She is a journalist, and she is a CNN contributor. She is one of the foremost experts when it comes to trade, specifically trade with Cuba. And this is a reminder here that Donald Trump is Vladimir Putin's bitch. And Donald Trump is deathly, for whatever reason, afraid of Putin or deferential to Putin. He will badmouth every world leader except for Vladimir Putin. And we've been putting a blockade on Cuba for a while. We haven't. Trump and Rubio have been bragging about how we're going to destroy their infrastructure, how we're not going to allow oil into Cuba, and we're going to strangle them basically until they call uncle and allow the United States to come in and run it. Until Putin decided, I'm going to send them some oil, and then Trump's like, that's fine.
All of this time has been spent trying to make sure that Putin does not win in Ukraine. So two things. Putin clearly, come on, how do you explain his sending a tanker full of oil, 730, whatever, however much it is, barrels, liters, whatever it is, oil to Cuba, defying a blockade that the United States has constructed around Cuba, a naval blockade, telling the Coast Guard not to intercept now this this Russian ship full of oil for Cuba, so that they don't just collapse because their grid is in real jeopardy. The hospitals can't operate properly. People are dying. It's really, really terrible what's happening on a humanitarian basis. So, I mean, Putin, he was clearly testing the US, right? In their own backyard. I mean, literally, that is one of the history's most incredible sort of lessons. The whole embargo in 1962 and who's going to bust it and who's going to take missiles there, the Russians and this and that, nuclear.
I love it, Pammy. There you go, Pammy. Don't let any of this information sink in. This woman is very far left. Whatever you do, Pammy, keep that mind closed. Don't let any doubts creep into your mind that Donald Trump is Jesus fucking Christ. Don't do it. Dismiss her by calling her far left. Everything she's saying is verifiably true. That the United States cut off oil shipments to Cuba, and then Putin said, I'm doing it, and Trump's like, okay. That's all true. It doesn't matter. She could be on any part of the political spectrum. It would not matter. Don't ignore facts because you think this person is left.
Weapons and the whole lot. And now Trump allows them to go through. What is going on?
I have to admit, this one surprised me.
Russia.
It didn't surprise any of us. But if you think that what she's saying is bullshit, like let's hear Trump in his own words confirm this. Again, as we are forcing people not to send oil to Cuba to starve their people, Trump's asked about Putin. And here's what he says.
In the CNN poll, which just came out. Thank you very much, everybody.
One more thing on Cuba. There's a report that the U.S. is going to let a Russian oil tanker go to Cuba. Is that true?
Well, we have a tanker out there. We don't mind having somebody get a boatload because they have to survive. It wouldn't bother me.
So why do we stop people from sending oil to Cuba if we don't mind if they get oil?
As far as you know.
Well, I would say, I told them, if a country wants to send some oil into Cuba right now, I have no problem with it.
Oh, is that true?
Whether it's...
Oh, is that true? If a country wants to send oil to Cuba, I have no problem with that. Okay, well, let's check with Chris Wright here. And Chris Wright, the energy secretary, who would be in charge of this, is going to quote Donald Trump here. Let's see, Trump, are you sure you didn't have a problem with that?
Energy Secretary Chris Wright, I have this question. The president said Sunday there will be no more oil or money going to Cuba, zero. There is an article that Mexico is still providing oil to Cuba despite the president's vow to cut off that supply. Will that be stopped?
No oil to Cuba. Are we going to stop Mexico from doing it? No oil for Cuba. Go ahead, Russia. We had sanctions on Russian oil. In fact, it's kind of unclear how our sanctions work. There's an executive order, and shout out Amanda if you're here for sending that to me. They put out an executive order temporarily undoing the restrictions on Russian oil. So while we go to war with Iran, we're like Trump also at the same time, as Russia's providing intel for Iran, Trump's like, hey, go ahead, Russia, sell your oil. It's no big deal. Okay.
I think the president...
No, he didn't say from the U.S. He said the U.S. will send no more oil, but then he criticized Mexico for sending oil, and he told our allies not to send oil to Cuba. That's what the fuck do you think sanctions are? What do you think embargoes are? Do you think that if the United States sanctions Cuba or puts an embargo on Cuba, that that's actually the law? Do you think we can just write laws and the whole world has to follow? No. We make these embargoes and we're threatening other countries. If you send oil to them, if you do trade with them, we will no longer do trade with you. It's leverage. We can't write the law, but yeah, Trump is telling everybody, do not work with Cuba. So we have sanctioned Cuba, embargoed Cuba, and we have sanctioned Russia, and Trump's like, well, we won't send oil. We're upset with Mexico if they send oil, and if Venezuela sends oil, that's a problem, but go ahead, Russia.
Was referring to no more Venezuelan money or oil to Cuba. With the quarantine for oil flow is around Venezuela, it's not around Cuba, or it's not around Cuba currently. Of course, the president may choose to use that leverage. He certainly could easily do that. But I think cutting off the Venezuela...
Explain it to me. We go into Venezuela. We kidnap their dictator. You know, the one that was ruining everything. We cut a deal with their oil companies. We tell Congress that we are going to help them sell their oil. We take their oil. We sell their oil. We put it in a bank, I believe, in Qatar. And we now say that we are partners with Venezuela. And yet we tell Venezuela they cannot send their oil to Cuba, which we would make a profit on, right? We would get a cut of that, right? So, no, we can't do that. But it's okay if Russia does it, who we have sanctions on. It's getting a little pathetic, isn't it? Like a little bit for you guys?
Venezuelan flow of oil and money, that's probably enough to make the situation in Cuba very dicey. And again, hopefully using no guns, but force and power to drive reform in Cuba as well as Venezuela.
I didn't see that.
This
Somebody said that
president is
Qatar asked for their plane back. I didn't know that. All right, just another Trump capitulating to Putin. And now this. And now perhaps one of the most catastrophic, if they follow through on this, perhaps one of the most catastrophic mistakes for the future of the United States and the future of the world. My favorite, all-time favorite radio host, James O'Brien from the LBC.
Has told the Daily Telegraph he is strongly considering pulling the United States out of NATO after it failed to join his war on Iran. The Daily Telegraph clearly didn't get the memo. It's not a war. It's a special military oration.
That's right. Trump should probably stop saying war if it's a special military operation.
Just like Vladimir Putin's illegal illegal invasion of Ukraine. And speaking of Vladimir Putin, of all the people reaching for the Dom Perignon and the Morrison's Party Poppers...
Thanks, Jensar, Antifa dudes, and just because I appreciate everything y'all do. Appreciate that.
Who would be most delighted by a United States president deciding to pull the United States out of NATO? Who would be most delighted? Which person on the planet, which individual person on the planet would be most delighted by the President of the United States imperiling world security on a scale that hasn't been seen since the end of the Second World War?
Let's walk through this. The United States invades Iran, bombs Iran, with no credible assessment that says they had nuclear weapons or that they were a danger to attack us. Our allies in NATO say, we're not going to join this. This doesn't make sense. The United States says, you don't necessarily have to join, although it's a mixed signal because Trump keeps telling them to come help open the Strait of Hormuz. But let us use all of your air bases. Our NATO allies are saying, well, look, we're seeing what's happening to these air bases in Saudi Arabia and in Qatar and in the UAE. They're being blown up. People are dying because they're helping you. We don't agree with your war. We don't want to put our nation at risk for this war. No, thank you. So Trump then says, fine, I'll pull out of NATO. Who does that benefit? Doesn't benefit us. It benefits Trump's ego, and it benefits Putin. By the way, massive benefit to Putin, who is currently arming not only with weaponry, but also with intelligence, the very people we're fighting in Iran. Who the fuck is this war for? Why is Trump playing patty cake with Iran and Russia and playing tough with our allies? This is a huge win for Russia. And if it wasn't Donald Trump, if this was Joe Biden right now, every single one of you would agree with me. If Joe Biden was doing this and I was criticizing Joe Biden, every fucking one of you would agree with me. You know how I know that? Because Donald Trump said there will be no new wars. Donald Trump kept claiming that when Joe Biden got in trouble in the polls, that he would attack Iran. That's how I know. And you all said it. You're all like, yep, that's true. What happened to Trump in the polls? Started crashing in the polls. Epstein files, cover up. Oh, I better go attack Iran. I know you would have all. You all would be on the exact opposite side of this because I've already seen you all on the opposite side of this. You've already hypothetically taken this position before in order to agree with dear leader Donald Trump. He's either working for Putin or he's a useful idiot. But holy shit, Putin has to be the happiest he's ever been in his life. He is sitting back and watching the United States destroy its own supremacy, destroy all of its allies, and now is saying like, oh, wait a minute, the one barrier keeping me from taking over Europe, Trump will get rid of that if the Europeans don't agree to join an illegal war with no justification. Oh, get me some fucking popcorn. Let's see how this plays out. It's one of those two things. I honestly tend to believe that Trump is just stupid. That makes me feel better. Because then I think you can undo it. But if this is on purpose, then I'm very worried.
Yeah, you're right. It would be Nigel Farage's favourite politician, Vladimir Putin, celebrating the actions of Nigel Farage's second favourite politician, Donald Trump. So it's true. I don't think it would be a very appropriate April Fool's, and I don't think my colleagues would have handed it to me 3 minutes ago if they hadn't triple-checked. So Donald Trump has told The Telegraph he is strongly considering pulling the United States out.
How is it an illegal war? Because there was no act of aggression. So we were the aggressors. If anybody looks at this as an objective observer, you're going to see that the Iranians had no action towards the United States, and the United States claims for why we bombed Iran can't be backed up. We can't say that they had a nuclear weapon. They didn't. We have no evidence that they had a nuclear weapon. People chanting death to America is not a justification for war. Building up your military is not a justification for war. Iran has every right to build up their military. Enriching uranium past 3.6% all the way up to 60%, also not a justification for war. It is not a justification for war until they create nuclear weapons, which they haven't done. At least we have no evidence for that. That's why it's an illegal war. And by the way, Trump keeps calling it not a war. It's an excursion
Of NATO after it failed to join his war on Iran.
There have not been 47 years of aggression. Stop repeating dumb fucking talking points that you. But what was the 40? Give me an example, Dean Johnson. Give me an example of Iranian aggression against the United States. Just one example in the last 47 years. Now, keep in mind that an act of aggression against the United States has to be an act of aggression against our sovereignty or against our nation, right? It can't just be somebody was killed that was a United States citizen. Now, if they did that on U.S. soil, that's an act of aggression. Can you tell me, any MAGA, one specific example of Iranian aggression in the last 47 years? This should be very easy for you. Excursion's a vacation. Incursion is an invasion. Yeah, but don't tell Trump. He doesn't know that yet. Come on, give me one example. The countless terrorist groups that have been attacking us. Which ones, Travis? Give me a specific terrorist group and where they attacked us. This is going to be embarrassing for you guys, just so you know. This is, and I'm probably going to beat a dead horse here. Come on, I need specific examples. They attempted to kill our president. Where's your evidence of that? That evidence, intel comes from Israel. Who was it? Who tried to kill him? Iran has been doing whatever the hell they want, getting bolder and bolder. Yeah, you guys are pathetic. One specific example, and you guys are all just generically repeating dumb shit you've said. One example. One specific example. The armed Shia militias in Iraq. In Iraq. That's not an act of aggression against us. We invaded Iraq. We were the invading force. That's not an act of aggression against the United States. That's a response to an invasion by the United States. kidnapping people in the 70s, blowing holes in. No, give me an example. Specific examples. You're giving me no specific examples, Dean. Tell me the person that they kidnapped and how that's an act of aggression against the United States. Do you think that kidnapping somebody is justification for war? In which case, there's a lot of people in the Middle East that have the right to go to war against the United States. I don't know if you've heard of Guantanamo Bay. I don't know if you know about us kidnapping people and keeping them in Guantanamo Bay for 20 years without a single charge. Dude from Florida tried to kill Trump. Can we bomb Florida? Yeah, probably. Drone attempt. What drone attempt? You're not giving any. Can you guys really not have any? Shut up, Daniel Toth. No, I'm asking for a specific example. You don't have to read between the fucking lines here. Give me one specific example, a name, a place, an action where Iran had an act of aggression against the United States. Do you see how fucking pathetic this is out of all of you? You're supporting a war and you can't articulate a single act of aggression by Iran in 47 years? Tower 22? What's Tower 22? Let's look that up. What's Tower 22? The Tower 22 drone attack. In Iraq. Yeah, no, that's in Iraq. Yeah, we invaded Iraq. That's not an act of aggression against the United States. We were the invading force. Try again. You can't invade a country and then when somebody attacks back, their allies attack back, then you're like, oh, now we get to blow you up. Come on, one specific example, please. USS Cole? I think it's COLE. Where was that at? That was Al-Qaeda. It's not Iran. Try again. And where was that? That was in Yemen. Again, not in our country. Where's this act of aggression against the United States? Why you don't see how pathetic this is? Oh, now they're just leaving. Now they're just going quiet. Bro don't want to hear the truth. I'm begging for the truth. Will, give me one specific example. Stop saying that your opinion is truth. Give me one fucking example. You're a grown-up. One. USS Cole was in Yemen, Dean. And that was Al-Qaeda. That wasn't Iran. This is pathetic. Al-Qaeda was created by Israel and ISIS. The United States kind of helpful there too. I liked Al-Qaeda there, Scots. Let's change that to Al-Qaeda forever now. Oh, did you guys all quit? Did you dummies all quit? 47 years. You want me to believe 47 years worth of evidence that allows us to bomb them and start a war with them, and you can't name a specific instance, not one? Not one? Yeah. Again, does Iran send people to Hamas, serious extremist groups? Wasn't Iran giving the Houthis weapons? Yes. Those are not acts of aggression against the United States. All of those weapons given to extremist groups were used when they were used against U.S. soldiers as an invading and occupying force. They were not an attack on the sovereignty of the United States. You know how those people could be out of harm's way? Don't be in the Middle East. Anybody else? I'm too dumb to watch. Yeah, I'm too dumb to watch. For sure, it's me. I remember the Arab Spring. Kate, what does that have to do with Iran attacking the sovereignty of the United States? You're saying we've already done this. Attacks on the U.S. bases in Iraq. Yes, we were an invading force in Iraq. We don't get to invade another country and bomb another country because we invade a country and their allies fight back. But again, I don't know specifically which ones you're talking about. That's why I'm asking for specifics, because I'm going to guess that if I looked at those attacks that you're talking about of U.S. bases, they'd be like these other ones, and they were not Iran. Oh, suddenly, I'm reading all drone attack on Mar-a-Lago. Drone attack on Mar-a-Lago. I don't even know what you're talking about. Let's pull this up. A drone flying close to, like, there was a drone alert 3 days ago. Is this the story you're talking about? This attack? A reported drone sighting near Palm Beach International Airport triggered a temporary halt in flight operations as Air Force One prepared to depart with President Trump. Security alert involving a suspected drone near Palm Beach International Airport briefly disrupted air traffic on Sunday. By the way, this was 3 days ago. This is after we've attacked them. So now this also wouldn't work, but let's read it. This would be retaliation. We attacked them before they retaliated, and their retaliation actually is what we attacked them for. Got it. According to aviation reports, let me put this up here so you guys can see. According to aviation reports, airport operations were temporarily suspended after an object believed to be a drone was detected close to restricted airspace during the presidential departure. Helicopters were deployed to monitor the situation. Flights were placed on hold as a precaution. Commercial airline pilot informed passengers mid-flight that authorities are responding to a drone presence. U.S. Secret Service later rejected claims that an unauthorized drone had entered. Okay. Yeah, good try. Good try. I hadn't even heard that story.
Have you ever served in the military? I don't have to give specific instances. I just have to say that you didn't serve in the military.
Give me one specific instance of a time that the Iranians attacked the sovereignty of the United States. Let's keep going. We'll be petty. I'll do this for 20 more minutes. I don't give a shit. You stop saying USS Cole. Jen, ban USS Cole. No, don't do that. You can't keep saying USS Cole. We already debunked that. Yeep, another attack attempt. No, that wasn't an attack attempt. Will, they said it wasn't. The Secret Service, Trump's people said there was no attempt. Dean's just going to double down on USS Cole. Again, we already covered that one. That's not an attack on U.S. sovereignty, and that was Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda. I like that last cranberry. Here's the most recent, says Will. What is? Iran frequently targets U.S. interests with recent major attacks, including the January 2024 drone attack by Iran-backed militants that killed 3 U.S. service members at Tower 22 in where? Jordan. Jordan is not in America. Boy, this is tough for you. Yeah, I did. Dean, USS Cole was not in the United States. It was in Yemen, right? And it was Al-Qaeda. And you want me to believe that Al-Qaeda bombing a U.S. ship means we get to go to war with Iran? Sure, bud. Dirty laundry. You have to. We're talking about Iran right now. Don't talk about deportations. Stay on subject, please. Thanks. Anybody else? American merchant marines need protected. Yeah, we got to protect those mercenary armies. Barbara said, "You're a joke. Get a job." I do have a job. Whenever you leave the house, I come in for $30 and I fuck your husband. It's going well. You should leave more often though, or I'm gonna have to raise the rates. That's true. I did not serve in the military. I might have serviced multiple servicemen, but that's not what he's talking about. That's not. I don't know if they're servicemen or not, but I know your dad has a hard time staying hard, but I still tell him he's a good boy. Anybody else? When you attack our people, you are attacking America. That's not how war works, dipshit. It's not. You don't just get to make up your own rules. You know, if we invade another country, if we occupy the Middle East and the people that we are fighting fight back, we don't get to blow up their country. No, we're not talking about Obama right now. We can talk about Obama when you guys give me one single example of the Iranians attacking the sovereignty of the United States. No? I'm a disgrace. It's your Mike Baer, YOU''RE, a disgrace. You're trying to say you are, so you need an apostrophe there. That's the wrong your. But once again, there's Republicans are just getting really upset and they're starting to lash out now. We don't have examples, but we know that we don't like you. Keep going. I seem to make up my own rules. No, there are rules to war. There's international law. That's why nobody will join us. That's why Trump won't even call it war, because he knows that he's breaking the law. We're just a bunch of war criminals over here in the United States. No big deal. We've committed multiple war crimes while we're not at war. Anybody else? One specific example? Does the U.S. Embassy count? No. No, that is not an attack on the sovereignty of the United States. Now, we could attack the people who attacked the embassy. We can certainly go after them. That's fine. No, you haven't given any examples at all. You've given examples that aren't related. Khobar Tower 96. Thank you, Woodrow Call. That is one I'm unfamiliar with, so let's look that up. I'm going to guess that just the name itself sounds like it's not here in the United States. Khobar Tower 1996. Let's look that up. The Khobar Towers bombing was an attack on part of a housing complex in the city of Khobar, Saudi Arabia. That's certainly not an attack. Wait. That's certainly not an attack on the United States. Attacking Saudi Arabia is not an attack on the sovereignty of the United States. Want to try again? You're dumb like all politicians? I think I'm smarter than most politicians. I think most of them are pretty dumb. The Japanese in World War II. There we go. There we go. We're going all the way back. We're getting Iran back for Pearl Harbor. They were in on it somehow.
They are funded by Iran and attack our ships.
Yeah, guess why they're attacking our ships? Because we're an occupying force. Do they ever come here? Do they go to San Diego? Like, I was just in San Diego recently. We have a lot of ships in San Diego. I've been to Hawaii near Pearl Harbor. We have ships there. I lived in Virginia Beach. We have a lot of ships there. Do they ever come there and attack? Or do they only attack us when we occupy their region? Oh, it's when we occupy their region? Yeah, therefore, it is not an attack on U.S. sovereignty. I mean, you're talking about the equivalent of walking up and punching somebody in the face, and then they punch you back, and you're like, "You're the bad one. We get to kill you now." No, you start don't start a war. I was in San Diego and didn't even say hi. Sorry, Sarah. I was not aware that you lived in San Diego, and I was only there briefly. Will, none of your examples are good examples. What was on American soil? Okay, wait, hold on. Let me scroll up and see. Based on reports in 2024 and early 2026, U.S. authorities uncovered and charged individuals linked to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards regarding plots to assassinate Donald Trump. One, that would not be an attack on our sovereignty, but let's look at that. I'm guessing you're looking at this Department of Justice one. Sorry, let me show you this. You guys don't see it. Merchant tried to hire someone to kill a politician or a government official, but the FBI and our partners stopped that deadly plot. It's not the first attempt by Iran to harm our citizens on U.S. soil. Yeah, no. I mean, I get, like, when we assassinate, does that mean Venezuela has the right to attack us? Atlantis. All right, we're going to move on. Good try, guys. 15 more minutes. I want to show Rubio here. Yeah, we got through that with O'Brien. Let me show Rubio now, talking about leaving NATO.
Let me ask you about NATO. You said that our NATO allies have been disappointing. Specifically, I know you're talking about Spain, Great Britain, France, even Italy now, and that after all of this is done, we will re-examine this relationship, and especially when it comes to, we pay 2/3 of the freight when it comes to NATO defense, and if it's just, quote, about us defending Europe, you said, at this point, how do we call that? And we can't have our landing rights in European nations, our allies, at a time when we need them. What good is that alliance? And is the NATO alliance at risk?
Sean, I've been one of the strongest defenders of NATO during my time as a United States Senator because I found great value in it. And it wasn't just about defending Europe. I said it also allowed us to have military bases in Europe that allowed us to project power into different parts of the world when our national security was threatened. If now we have reached a point where the NATO alliance means that we can't use those bases, that in fact that we can no longer use those bases to defend America's interests, then NATO is a one-way street. The NATO
Oh, our interests. Oh, it's not defending America anymore. Oh, it's our interests. So now if we have interest in something, we can invade countries. Got it. Quick question for those, I don't remember who it was who brought up the Iranian assassination plots, which totally seem legit. If that's in response to us murdering Soleimani, then is that an act of aggression by them, or is that a response by them? Is it okay for us to drone strike their leaders? And again, why did we kill Soleimani? Because he directed the murder of some of our troops who were where? Here in the United States? No, as an occupying force? Got it. All of these problems would have gone away or not existed had we not been dragged into war for the last 50 years in the Middle East. Because we need these oil tycoons need us too.
is simply about us having troops in Europe to defend Europe, but when we need their help, not their help, we're not asking...
Goalpost moves? No, not goalpost moves. I'm just wondering. Our sovereignty has not been attacked still, but I'm wondering if you're going to use that as justification and say that that is our sovereignty, how do you square that with them saying, you killed one of our leaders, we're going to kill one of yours? How do you square that, then say, like, we're okay, it's okay for us to invade now? Wouldn't that be, like, if you're using the justification that we can invade if somebody takes out one of your leaders or tries to take out a leader, then wouldn't Iran technically be allowed to invade us? Like them authorizing assassination attempts here in the United States, would that not just be retaliatory behavior? Probably, right? Our consequences consistently have our actions consistently have consequences, and then we act so surprised when there's consequences to our actions.
Them to conduct airstrikes. When we need them to allow us to use their military bases, their answer is no. Then why are we in NATO? You have to
ever seen Mars attacks? That was actually Iran. Thank you, Blue Chew.
Ask that question. Why do we have billions and billions of dollars?
I'm on the side of the United States. Why don't you just be on the side of like what makes sense? Why don't you stop picking sides based on which country it is and stop being a dipshit follower? Just do what's right. I'm also on the side of the. I'm a United States citizen. I want to be safe. I want to be secure. I want our members of the military to be safe. I don't want to spend billions of dollars bombing Iran. I'm also on the side of the United States. But what you're talking about is sheer cuckery. You're saying, I'm Team United States, so I'm going to blindly defend what they do. That's fucking stupid. That's the opposite of why we have this country. If you wanted to be a cucky little fuck, you should have stayed over in England. Go move somewhere where Iran might be a great place for you. If what you do is just cheerlead the administration and cheerlead the government, perhaps the United States of America is not a great place for you. Check out North Korea. You might love it there. Check out Russia. Check out Iran. Go over there and cuck yourself to them. But here in the United States of America, where we have freedom of speech, and we're supposed to use that freedom of speech, and we're supposed to act as a check against our government, you being a cucky little bitch doesn't do a goddamn thing. You're an impediment to freedom. You're an impediment to democracy. You are nothing more than a useful tool for a corrupt administration, and you're proud of it. I proudly stand by and let them do whatever the fuck they want. Fuck my wife harder, please. I will sit here and do nothing except for cheerlead you. Do you have any merch? Do you have any fuck my wife harder merch that I could wear while I watch this, please? Can we do that? I would love that. Are you selling any watches or shoes that say fuck my wife harder? I need that. I need apparel while I sit here as a cheerleading bitch.
Hundreds of billions of dollars over the years, trillions of dollars, and all these American forces stationed.
You are the enemy, Joaquin. You are the enemy to democracy. You are the fucking problem. I don't support you. You and dipshits like you who deep throat the military industrial complex. You are my enemy. You are my problem. You are why we're $40 trillion in debt. You are why we can't have health care. You are why we have a failing education system. You are why our veterans are treated like shit. You are why these brave men and women go off to war and come back with PTSD and don't get any help. And why did they get PTSD? Because some oil company wanted to make a bunch of fucking money? Don't talk to me about the enemy. It's you. The enemy to me and freedom and the enemy to world peace is cucky little bitches like you who don't have a single solitary thought of your own, and you call everybody who doesn't get in line to get fucked in the ass by our government an enemy to the people. No, sir. I will choose when and where I get fucked. And if somebody tries to fuck me, I will resist, but not you. You will lay down, face down, ass up. Give me that half-hard dick Donald Trump some more. You're the fucking problem. If there was less of you and more of me, there would be less war and more peace. If you had a spine at all, the world would be a better place. I'm sick and tired of you. Your hatred and your bigotry and your small-mindedness and your inability to form a coherent thought of your own and instead just hop on the dick every day. Let's go, daddy government. Let's go. I'm riding this dick all day. You are the fucking problem, and there's too many of you. I'm not worried about Iran. Iran hasn't done a goddamn thing to me. You know who has? Dipshits like you. You know why these Hezbollah and the Houthis and Al-Qaeda and ISIS, you know why they kill our soldiers? Because dipshits like you allowed our government to take shitty intel from a war criminal in Benjamin Netanyahu and get our ass dragged into the Middle East to fight wars that made no fucking sense, cost trillions of dollars, and hundreds of thousands of lives. You are the fucking problem. Stop pretending like the solution is just like closing your eyes and taking it. Have a spine. Do you care about our military personnel? Do you care about those 13 military members that were murdered for no fucking reason? Why were they murdered? What did we get out of that? High gas prices? Yeah, we need the oil companies to make more money on gas. Yeah, they needed to die so we could kill the Ayatollah. Cool. Who do we replace him with? His more radical son? Awesome. That's fucking great. What did we create in the meantime? A bunch of other radicals who are now going to join militant groups and who now want to take revenge on Americans, who will now target our troops who are occupying the area again. When this war ends, you think they're just going to forget about it? You think they're not going to start coming up with plans to attack our troops again? This idea that you can beat the Middle East into submission is the dumbest fucking tried and failed idea in American history. Perhaps only beaten by trickle-down economics. The war in the Middle East and trickle-down economics have more data against them than anything in American history, and yet we got an army full of MAGA dipshits like, we got to keep doing it. This time it's going to work. It's never worked before. It always fucking sucks, but this time it's going to work. Every fucking time. You're no different. Like, we've had generations of you. The American exceptionalism is not you. Patriotism, what they call patriotism, which is dick riding for the government, is just submission. There's nothing patriotic or reflective of American values in you saying, if you don't support our war criminal president, you're a terrorist sympathizer. You're an enemy. It's you. Have an IQ above room temperature for a second and figure this the fuck out.
The region, if we can only use, in our time of need, we're not going to be allowed to use those bases. So I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, after this conflict is concluded, we are going to have to re-examine that relationship. We're going to have to re-examine the value of NATO and that alliance for our country. Ultimately, that's a decision for the president to make.
The fuck it is. The fuck it is. You know how I know it's not a decision for the president to make? Because of this. This is from 2023. This is legislation sponsored by Tim Kaine, and who's that? Marco Rubio. And they applaud the Senate passage of their bipartisan bill to prevent any U.S. president from leaving NATO. They passed a law in 2023 that said the president cannot unilaterally withdraw from NATO. It requires Congress. And yet, well, I guess I skipped it. And yet this cucky little bitch now is like, that's actually a decision for the president. Oh, word? Word, so this law just is not, this law doesn't exist anymore, Marco Rubio? You didn't write the fucking law, and then you went on Fox News where it's dipshits are like, oh, I just will believe it. As long as he's saying that Donald Trump is in control of everything, I'm okay with it. How'd we get there? When I can see it again, let's look at Marco Rubio's bitch ass one more time. Let's finish that off, Marco.
You said that
billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars over the years, trillions of dollars, and all these American forces stationed in the region. If we can only use, in our time of need, we're not going to be allowed to use those bases. So I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, after this conflict is concluded, we are going to have to re-examine that relationship.
You're not a senator, sir. You have no say.
We're going to have to re-examine the value of NATO and that alliance for our country. Ultimately, that's a decision for the president to make, and he'll have to make it. We're going to...
Oh, yeah. Marco, Kane and Rubio applaud Senate passage of their bipartisan bill to prevent any U.S. president from leaving NATO. Passed bipartisan vote of 87-13. You know why they passed it? Because they were afraid Donald Trump would become president. That was the point of this. Because Republicans started talking about leaving NATO. And 87 U.S. senators voted to make sure that the president could not unilaterally drag our asses out of NATO. 2.5 years later.
Well, I no longer believe in the legislation that I passed, and I no longer believe in the United States Constitution. I just believe in being Donald Trump's bitch.
That's you, MAGA. That's you. Stop being cucks. All right, I got to get out of here. Jen, did I miss any comments? Actually, there are some here. Mindless said, I miss the good old days when people had the cojones to actually call in if they didn't agree with you. No, MAGA has completely lost their spines, their balls, their courage. They've all turned into trolls. There's no such thing as a MAGA who will defend this. In fact, I don't think anybody here actually defends this. I just think that they don't like me, and it's frustrating for them to see a liberal be right and provide receipts. That's very frustrating, and they don't like answering questions. Jamar said, so if my neighbors kidnap my son, I can bomb them. Hell yeah, brother. That's right. Can. Didn't miss any there. Let's see. Got him. All right. We'll be back tomorrow morning, every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here, wherever you're watching. I think we get TikTok back on the 3rd. We don't have it yet. It wasn't me. These just came in, said, Woodrow Call does not claim that Woodrow Call. I don't know what that means. Woodrow Call is Tommy Lee Jones in Lonesome Dove. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here, wherever you're watching. Not on TikTok, but certainly here on Twitch and YouTube. You can catch the replay as soon as this live ends, either on YouTube, Twitch, or Spotify. We did put out a couple of videos today. Engage with those if you can. Like and subscribe. If you're here and you're not subscribed, subscribe. You might as well. Even if you hate me, you can come back. On Monday, we will have our movie night. We haven't picked it yet, but probably tomorrow or Friday, I'll announce what our movie is. You need to be a paid subscriber to join us for movie night in the Discord. So you can pick up a paid membership either on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok. Any level of membership will get you there. But that also goes a really long way. Even if you don't want to join us for movie night, I think it's like $5. That monthly donation, it adds up for us. It allows us to continue, one, to pay our bills, but also as we look to expand in the future, travel a little bit more, do some events. We have to build up a budget so that we can do that. And I'm in the process of putting money aside so that we can build things up, but that helps a great deal. So if you're able to have a paid membership, that would be awesome. If you're not, but you have Amazon Prime, head on over to Twitch. You can get a free membership by using your Amazon Prime subscription. And if you need help doing that, you can talk to any of our moderators or in the Discord. And then you can just use Amazon's money and they'll pay us the subscription. You don't have to pay a thing. So if you have Amazon Prime, you're not subscribed on Twitch, head over onto Twitch, make an account, and then you can join us for movie nights. If you can't, that's fine too. Our content is available. It helps us a great deal when you're just here, you're commenting, you're liking, you're engaging. And of course, we love having you here. So until I see you again, go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. If you can't smoke grass or touch grass, best of luck to you. Be nice to your friends, to your family, to your neighbors, but most importantly, be nice to yourself. Drink lots of water, say nice things about yourself, stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.